Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Hey, good evening and welcome to a brand new week of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for joining us as we have Lon Strickler here for Strange Days. We're going to have a great show all night long. Thank you for coming on in. And the best part about tonight, we have each and every one of you. Race fan in the gold medal position. Paul Shreves taking home a silver. Kitty Caddywhack with a bronze medal tonight. T-Bone, my man, how's that new wrench treating you? Let me know, my friend. How are you? Bar Madison, Brown Dwarf, Mama Catherine. Mwah! I love you, my dear. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful night. And let's see, Dragonfly. Good to see you. Dragonfly will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, nice to see you. Mel WD40 is here, lubing us up for tonight's show, because you always want to go into a show with Lon nice and smooth. No rigidness when it comes to cryptids. None whatsoever. That's why we got to lube up. Make sure we're well lubed in order to talk some monsters. Paramarv, how you liking your wrench? Good to have you here, my man. Scott B., good to see you. So we continue on with roll call tonight. Little Timmy James is here. Literally, he's right there. Hey, bud. How you doing? All right, moving on. Necessary Dialogue, nice to see you. Les Paul Holland, strumming away in Australia. Scrolling on down, let's see who else we have here. Karen in the Woo Train. Richard Minnick, how are you, my friend? Good to see you both here. Number 29 in your program, starting on the fourth line tonight. Big tough guy out of Stockholm, Sweden. Lars Jansson. There he is. Captain K-Rod. How are you, Captain? Good to see you. W. David Page. Gory Tiger is back. Gory Tiger will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. Scrolling on down. Next, we say hello to Little Cam over on Twitch. Literally did 1,400 jumping jacks. 28 minutes. All right. 2 water breaks. That's it. 2 water breaks. Melissa Nicole, nice to see you back. Hi there, Candy. And Richard Minnick, thank you for kicking off the super chat tonight. We very much appreciate your continued love and support of SOR. So thank you very, very much. And let's say hi to Pam Harris. Lisa Smith, good to see you. And Algaray over on Twitch just ran 26.2 miles, so full marathon, to escape some phantoms and monsters. He's ready for Lon. He is ready for Lon. He's sitting on a lounging chair drinking a pina colada right now. He deserves it. Matt Geek, good to see you. Kimberly Burgess, nice to see you. High Eternity Eternal. Operation Shutdown. And Vanessa, thanks for coming on in. Super Crazy, good to see you. Jay Truth Seeker, thanks for coming on in. 2 heads, better than 1. Right there. Excuse me. Thank you, Karen, for the great hair. Appreciate that. And where are we here? Scrolling on down. Noble Patrick. nice to see you. And Sir Wolf, good to have you here. Who else is next? Scrolling on down. Let's see here. Let's get the radio side going before I get caught up in a conversation. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Strange Days, Halloween edition with Lon Strickler tonight on the big show. As we always love it when Lon is here on the final Monday of every month. We're in roll call. Let's say hello to Scott's Life. And who's next on our list? Phyllis Boucher Perry, Robert Lamoth. Good to see you both. Roscoe Rosier, how you doing? Good to see you. And Seven Systems, good to have you back. Ozzy. Oi, oi. Reminder, Super Chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. Woo-poo, nice to see you. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Make sure you check it on out and go from there. Here we go, everybody. Time to throw those horns up. Let's rock. Of Central British Columbia, listening around the
shoveling dirt in every hole.
Predators condemn your soul. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SLR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, Bumblefoot, read the news, wire. Check out our site as well. You can follow us on X and Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon and the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Jive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Jive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show for you tonight, as our good friend Lon Strickler is here to talk some monsters and phantoms as he comes in once a month for Strange Days. Then in hour number 3, we have Swamp Dweller. Then little Timmy James will join us for the UFO report. All right, let's battle on in. Lon Strickler is here from phantomsandmonsters.com, and each and every month he joins us to talk everything that is paranormal and supernatural. On his website, people have submitted thousands upon thousands of stories of weird, strange encounters, whether it's with ghosts, cryptid monsters, aliens, UFOs, and everything in between. Lon is also an accomplished author. You can find his books on his website. Once again, phantomsandmonsters.com. And you may recognize him from many, many television shows over the years, talking about his expertise, what he knows about the monsters that hide and hang around us. Lon Strickler, you've been keeping a secret from us.
I have.
Yeah. So I'm going to expose that secret right now. Right now. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lon Strickler. Happy birthday to you. There you go.
Yeah, fishy old man today, 66.
And I'm telling you, you still have the hair of a 30-year-old. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not dyed either.
Oh, I wonder what that's like. I'm whiter than a snow rabbit right now, my friend. It's terrible.
Yeah, but you're from Canada. That's okay.
Well, I know. Not all Canadians like me, though, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Lon, happy birthday to you from all of us.
Thank you.
Out Radio, and I know you are still one of the best when it comes to talking everything monsters and legends. Every week we have new people listening in. Every month there's new listeners tune in for you. You love what you do. You love tracking down these weird, strange stories. Give us a brief synopsis of how this all began.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, as I've said before, I mean, I was kind of born into this. I always knew as a kid that there was something different about me, though I really didn't understand what it was. And of course, I've told you about my experience of at 9 years old on the Gettysburg battlefield, and that kind of started everything. And when I literally had 30 seconds of being in the second day of the battle at Gettysburg, and that kind of started it. After that, things started. I started understanding a little bit more about what's going on with me. But I never really talked about it with my family or anybody. A couple of my friends knew about it because back then you could go on the battlefield at night and camp out. So we used to camp out on the battlefield, me and kids I went to school with, and saw a lot of different things. And of course, it was all me doing cases, especially after I moved down to Maryland. And lived down there for about 40 years. But then I had a Bigfoot encounter in 1981, and that kind of really sparked all the monster hunting stuff. And it's led to where things are today. And look, if I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't do it. I definitely find something better to do, I guess, if it's better. But no, I can't complain. I've been very lucky. I've had people good, supporting me. Coming forward for all these years, sending reports, telling me about their encounters and sightings, and allowing me to tell the world about it.
As you have gone through this world of monsters and legends, you've heard the incredible stories, everything from alien encounters and up close and personal encounters with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and other monsters. Is there anything that, after hearing those thousands upon thousands of stories, that still kind of gets you a little excited about, all of this?
Yeah, I still do get excited when there's something different that shows up. Not necessarily a different type of creature or cryptid, but some variations. I was kind of in a lag in the early 2010s and such until all this stuff started in Chicago, and especially after 2017. And that's when it really took off. And of course, I've been fortunate enough to work with people that are very interested in cryptids as well with my team. And, this whole Chicago thing has really turned out well. And, it wasn't something where I was looking for any notoriety for anything in particular, but because of the unusual aspects of these cases and this investigation, and the fact that it's still been going on since for all these years, 13 years now. And of course, we've had we had sightings from back 20, 30 years ago that really weren't put out there in the mainstream, but we're starting to come forward with a lot of that stuff, and especially now since the show was aired.
You've done television, you've done radio, you've done documentaries, you've done your own podcasts, you've written books. What do you love about being a part of that side of the monster hunting?
Well, it's a lot of work. I mean, I don't necessarily like all the work sometimes. It can get a little hectic, especially when I'm working on 2 or 3 different things at one time. But like I said before, if I didn't love doing it, I wouldn't do it. And I've been fortunate to be able to forge friendships throughout the paranormal world, and been able to bounce cases off of people, and fortunately they've been very receptive to me, and I tried to compensate for that as well. So yeah, it's a labor of love, I suppose.
It's definitely not a labor of richness. No offense.
Yeah.
Lord knows I don't think any of us would be here if we were, if you get that book deal, it's going to pay you $1 million.
Yeah. Well, those are few and far between, believe me.
All right. Right. As you have moved forward here and you've heard numerous stories surrounding Halloween, whether it's legends of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman and people actually seeing that play out, to all sorts of ghouls, goblins, gargoyles, witches flying on my ex-wife's car through the moonlight. How have you been able to... Yeah, I tried to sneak that one in. How have you been able to try and figure out what really happens around Halloween and why we like to get spooked out so much?
I never really understood that, to be quite frank with you. I am not a big Halloween person, for whatever reason. Though Halloween in my neck of the woods is really big. I mean, they have, just like the other night, they had trick or treat, and I was out taking my nightly walk. And I was astounded how many people were out trick or treating. And what they do around here, it's interesting. People don't wait for kids or folks to come to their door. They literally sit out on the lawn. A lot of them are grilling food and stuff, and they're handing candy out as people are going by. And the whole town gets into it with the firemen and the police officers are roaming the streets, making sure everything's safe. And of course, we have a big parade here for Halloween every year. So it's big around here, but I've never really gotten into the whole Halloween thing. Of course I did when I was a kid, but I mean, as opposed to some people just really go crazy with it. I mean, some of the decorations I have seen around here this year have just been unbelievable.
Oh, they are definitely marketing Halloween now, much like Christmas.
Oh, here it's bigger. There are more people that decorate for Halloween here than they do for Christmas. There's no doubt about that.
Do you have a favorite Halloween spooky story that's come into phantomsandmonsters.com over the years? I know there's been a lot. I know it's probably hard to figure it out, but I'm just curious if there's one off the top of your head.
Not really. I mean, I don't really do a whole lot for Halloween as far as what I write or what comes in. If something comes in, yeah, I'll post it. But, the paranormal activity around Christmas time really gets me. And that's when I like to kind of unload and put a few different things out there, if I can. But not really. I don't have any particular Halloween stories. I hear, I guess people are more cognitive of Halloween when it gets closer. And does it open up activity? Does it free up activity? Does it make it more available for people to experience? I think there's something to that, but I think that's all perception too. People do contact me for the most part and say, look, I saw this, and this. You think it's related to Halloween? Yeah, possibly. But I think the whole energy thing, kind of rises at this time of year. And, it kind of lends to that.
When you are, taking in all of these different types of stories that happen, what do you look for in a story that makes it feel so much more real?
Well, the biggest thing is that people don't embellish on what they're telling you. They tell you right off the bat what they encountered or what they saw, and they don't embellish on it. And that's always a breath of fresh air, because unfortunately, a lot of people want to make me feel good about about getting certain aspects of an account that just seems a little ridiculous at some point. I mean, but I have been lucky that a lot of what I do receive, and after I talk to them, they don't try to either pull the wool over my eyes or add a little bit here and there to kind of spice the story up. And I mean, of course, that's not what I want. I mean, I'm not really doing this to entertain people, though. Of course, people are entertained by it. But I really want the actual truth to be presented, and we go from there.
Is there a truth in this field, though? Because there's no science behind it. There's no real case studies around it. There is really no evidence that could prove or disprove anything. Yes, we have evidence, but I'm saying empirical that could lead us into the direction of solving these mysteries. How do you feel about all that?
I don't let it worry me. You're going to get a lot of detractors about anything you post. I mean, that's just that's the nature of the beast. But quite frankly, I do hope at some point we will start getting more and more evidence, and that people will be more open to it. And as time has gone on, because of the internet and media and such, it has come to that. Now, I mean, another aspect of that is if people start believing more and more, is it something that imprints time? Does it cause some type of maybe tulpa or some type of thought form manifestations? I mean, that's always a possibility. But I don't really worry about what people think. If they want to detract, they want to be skeptical, fine. That's their business. I'm just here to report what I get, to try to get as much truth as I possibly can. And if it's something that I don't believe is entirely true, I will normally mention that at the end of what I post. I'm skeptical to a point too. But, so you can get some things sometimes that you're just really off the wall. But, that's the fun of doing all this. It's the fun, it's the best part is getting something interesting that you can kind of sink your teeth in, and gives you the ability to start researching more as well. And that's how we learn. And of course, I've been lucky enough to have several investigations that allowed me to do that.
You mentioned something there about the fun of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I look at this community, you look at this community on a daily basis and see so much seriousness with all of this. Have we forgotten that this is fun? Have we forgotten that it's cool to be part of that Scooby-Doo type cartoon-like effort chasing down monsters?
I think so. I mean, I've got that little niche in me as well. I mean, finding something unusual and reporting it and having people take notice of it, and then coming on shows like this and talking about it. I mean, that's what I enjoy doing. And of course, I guess some people get too serious. I try not to be like that. I want to come off as looking and being serious, and because I am very serious about this, but not in a way that it's really stiff and, quite frankly, not entertaining at all.
Well, you know what? I think it is entertaining. It is fun. We are very lucky to be doing what we do. I mean, not everybody gets to say they are chasing down monsters and legends. I mean, that you need that on a business card, man.
Well, I guess enough people know that at this point now when they know what I'm talking about or what I'm about altogether. But I mean, as long as I can keep doing it and enjoying it, and I will, it's not a matter of grabbing believer. It's a matter of presenting what's presented to me and being able to look into it, to research it, especially with other folks and discussing it. And that's the best part of it.
We have 4 minutes to go before we have to go to break. At the bottom of the hour, Lon Strickler and Strange Days continues on Spaced Out Radio right now. Lon, we're going to start getting into a number of your stories that you brought forward with us today. And I'm just curious, as you are going through, how many reports, for our people who may not know, how many reports do you get on these topics on a weekly basis?
I probably go through 40 to 50 reports weekly on the average. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good and bad, but I don't present everything. I do keep a record of everything because in my research, if there's something that has come up and I do have it on file, then I will look it up and use it. But no, I'd say between 40 and 50.
Out of those reports, do you post them all?
No, I usually post about 4 a day on the average. Just depends on what it is, how important I believe it is. And there are many times when people will contact me and for a specific type of report, and I try to accommodate them the best I can. I mean, of course, I do a weekly show on Friday nights on Fams Monsters Radio, and I do present the reports I do get. And I try to keep people up to date on what I'm doing, what the team's doing, and, things that have been going on in the paranormal world.
How many other researchers use you as a guideline when they're on an investigation looking into things?
Oh, I got a lot of inquiries from other investigators.
And what exactly are they looking for?
Just information about specific type of phenomena. Especially something to do with, just like the Chicago Mothman, and if they want to, they want to know more about what I've experienced or how to get into doing what I do and my backstory and things like that. I get a lot of calls about doing interviews for newspapers and such. This time of year, especially, I did 2 today, Chicago Tribune and the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, because they're doing particularly Halloween stories, but they want to put something in there about the Mothman. So that kind of comes up and it's kind of convenient. So yeah, but I do get a lot of inquiries, and it's private and through the media.
When I get inquiries like that, it's like, hey, it's 9:30 in the morning. Can you come on at 11:08 to talk about UFOs over Canada? It'll be a 25-minute segment and with a commercial break. No.
It happens.
I'd like some notice,
Yeah, I can do last minute stuff if it's, if I have enough to go with, but I'm kind of at the point now. It doesn't bother me if people come last minute and ask me to do something. When all this broke in Chicago, I was doing last minute interviews on drive time radio in Chicago like every other day. It was nuts. And it's kind of done the same thing with the Unsolved Mysteries episode. I've had people asking me about coming on and doing more interviews with terrestrial radio. So, I don't mind doing that.
Love it. Lon, we got 20 seconds before we're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. So I'm going to get you to get comfy, get cozy, throw your slippers on, and just relax for a minute, because when we return with Lon Strickler here on Spaced Out Radio, what we are going to do is we're going to get into another Chicago Mothman update and the stories that are wrapped around it. Oh, I love this Mothman story. What is going on in the Chicago area? Spaced Out Radio, Strange Days with Lon Strickler continues right after this. So I did this show right before ours tonight with Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron, two people I just love and adore. But before I had, excuse me, before I had even spoken a word, there was this guy just trouncing me in the chat room. This Dave guy seems evil. He seems like he doesn't know what he's. Oh, just yeah, man. No, I'm being serious. I'm like, who takes the time to do that? Like, if I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I haven't even started yet. The guy didn't. Who's this guy? What's he all about?
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, I get you. I get you. And let's say hello to Michael Gutierrez. I got to get caught up here. Area 53, welcome to the chat room, and thank you for that awesome super chat, my man. Audio, how you doing? It's not West Decker anymore. It's Area 53. Christy Campbell, how are you? Good to see you back. And Art Frazier over on LinkedIn. There's a lot more evidence out there than anyone ever realized. You just have to be abducted and have an implant placed in your body to see it, I guess. Amen to alien implants right there. Oh, I love this name. This might be one of my new favorite names here. Savage Grammy. That is an awesome YouTube name. Yeah. You know what? I just from that name, I am not messing with her or ever complaining about her cooking. She will kick my ass with a steel chair.
She comes on my show a lot. I mean, as far as the chat room.
I will guarantee you that she not only knows how to throw a wooden spoon at you with accuracy, okay, but she will hit you with a steel chair in the back just to smarten you up. Guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brown Dwarf, I'll ask that in hour 2. I like that question. She says, you read me like a book. Oh, yeah. I wonder how many of her grandchildren have dents in their side of their face for getting swap with that wooden spoon. My mom used to get me with a wooden spoon, man. Oh, man. You ever get the wooden spoon there, Lon?
I didn't get the wooden spoon, but I used to get the lilac bush switch.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't get that.
The pussy willow switch.
Made in USA, how you doing? Doc from Wyoming, good to see you back. John Jackson, how you doing, buddy? Mm-hmm. Those who are asking questions, I am saving them for hour 2 for Lon. Okay? Oh, Matt Geek says, I was more scared of the sandal coming off. My mother was a face slapper. Didn't like that. Warden Dragon, how you doing? I remember when I was about 15, 16, and my mom smacked me across the face. That's when I realized I was bigger than her. Yep. I reminded her point blank. I said, that'll be the last time you slap me across the face, Mom. I love you, but I'm officially bigger than you. Yeah. She still scared the hell out of me, though. Yeah. My mom was intimidating. She was an awesome lady. Love her. Miss her. Mm-hmm. Little pissed she hasn't come seen me yet.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I am actually kind of disappointed in that. But what do you do?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you tonight to Richard, Ozzy Ange, Scott, Noble Patrick, Gizmo, and Area 53 for the super chats. Greatly appreciate the love and support. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell, because we like seeing our numbers go up. We're greedy that way. Here comes the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. You are who you are listening in. And together, we like to own the homeless. Reminder to all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. We have Lon Strickler. We have phantomsandmonsters.com, and together they make strange days here on Spaced Out Radio. His website, phantomsandmonsters.com. Lon, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
All right. You got a great story for us tonight. I will read it because that's kind of what I do around here. Hey, I don't make the rules. That's Lon Strickler right there. All right. July 30th, 2024 in Chicago. My boyfriend and I were walking home from our late night rendezvous. Oh my. To Burger King. Even better. Oh, I could use a Whopper right now. Thanks, Lon. Could use a Whopper right now and can't even have one. It was around 11:30 p.m. It was dark outside. We were walking behind the building in the alleyway that goes from Warner Avenue to Belle Plaine Avenue, just chatting and goofing around when my boyfriend stopped abruptly. It took me about 3 steps to notice that he had stopped, so I turned around and looked at him while he was whispered to look up in the alleyway. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps on this one already. I turned back around and my eyes instantly set on a slender, winged humanoid figure levitating roughly about 15 feet in the air. I take a few steps closer to the figure because for a moment I thought I could be hallucinating. As I walk towards it, literally disappears and dissipates into thin air. Mind you, the interaction with this creature only lasted 25 seconds tops. From the moment my boyfriend stopped me walking forwards, and it disappeared. We are still so freaked out 2 days later. We didn't know what to think until we watched the episode today and realized it was definitely the Mothman that we saw. Lon, that short story completely puts goosebumps all over my body, man.
Yeah, that was July 30th of this year. In fact, it was like 2 days before the Mothman Revisited episode on Unsolved Mysteries was released. And it was one of the first accounts that was sent into Unsolved Mysteries, which I was received from their producers just this week. And that's one of many that we got. And quite frankly, I'm waiting for more witnesses to get back to me. I did get the contact information from them. But yeah, myself and Tobias are looking into those as we speak.
Levitating 15 feet in the air.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
things I don't want to see in my life, and a monster levitating right in front of me is one of them.
That's happened before. I mean, that's something that's been described to us by other witnesses as well. They literally hovering above a sidewalk or, somewhere. And, yeah, that does happen. And, yeah, it's pretty profound.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to scare the daylights out of anybody. It really is going to scare the daylights out of anybody who who comes across that, especially if you are someone who has never experienced the phenomenon before.
Yep. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I had an encounter in '88, and I know how it affected me. And as far as somebody in a dark alley in the middle of the night running into one of these things, hovering in the air above you, yeah, I can imagine that's a bit frightening.
What makes this story connect to the rest of the Mothman stories?
Well, it's very similar to what people are experiencing. I mean, especially in the urban areas of the city itself. It kind of takes you back to the old Kolchak TV series. That's kind of the same stuff that was they wrote those accounts about and made into the TV show. And it just so happens it was in Chicago. And, I get a lot of people reference that, but I don't know if you even remember watching that. But that was a pretty popular show, even though it was only on, I think, 1 year, maybe 2 years. But it was one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Yeah, we had Canadian television back then, only on 3 channels, Lon. You know how many times, I believe up until about 1989, that every Canadian, because of the lack of channels, could quote every line from Anne of Green Gables.
Really?
And any type of music that was on TV always revolved around 2 people, Anne Murray and Burton Cummings. I think it was like 29 Grey Cups in a row that Anne Murray and Burton Cummings played at. It's like, we have other artists. Like, can we see someone else for once? Sorry, it was. Thanks, CBC. Appreciate that. You can get your bonuses now. Oh, so Kolchak, nope, never saw it. Don't blame me for not seeing it. Not my fault.
Well, you can go onto YouTube and search it. It was a pretty cool show. Darren McGavin played Kolchak. He was like a newspaper or investigative journalist, and he was running into all kinds of paranormal situations. And yeah, it was a pretty cool show. It was, I mean, for its time, that was what, the early 70s, I think. Yeah, I think it had to be in the early 70s. So yeah. I think that show actually inspired me a bit, quite frank with you.
You know what was the worst, though? Getting back to Canadian television for a second. It's after Hockey Night in Canada where you were forced to watch the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right.
It was followed up by the Tommy Hunter show with Anne Murray. Couldn't get away from it. Couldn't get away from it. Oh, my God. It was, you American people do not know punishment unless you had to watch CBC, the Canadian Broadcast Corporation. Lon, you lived in Canada for a bit. You know what I'm talking about. You're laughing here.
Yeah, well, I remember that too. I mean, I lived in Canada for about 6 months in 1976. But I do. Yeah, I know.
None of what I am saying I'm making up. None of it. This is all truthful stuff.
That's true.
This is what we call empirical evidence. Let's move on to another story here. In 2013 in Rockford, Illinois, isn't that the home of the Peaches from the women's professional baseball league? The Rockford
That's
Peaches?
exactly where it was.
That's the only way I know Rockford is thanks to A League of Their Own. I love that movie. Still makes me cry. Baseball movies are the best. My husband and I were living at Beacon Hill Apartments off Linden Road. Our apartment was on a ground level with only one juvenile tree 20 feet from the bedroom window. My husband had been working nights, and I would be sleeping alone with 2 cats. I would hear constantly between 3 and 4 a.m. a metallic tapping on the bedroom window. Oh, there's nothing creepy about that. I couldn't sleep. I'd stay up until 4:30 a.m. or so to make sure the tapping stopped. Then I started hearing bees in the bedroom vent. I did a maintenance check for bees, and they said there was nothing there. Sometime later on the weekend, when my husband was home and able to sleep with me, I woke up and noticed what appeared to be large upside-down bat with red eyes. I woke him up and told him to look. He said that he didn't see anything, although my husband didn't hear the bees in the vent and the tapping on the bedroom window. We just watched. Pardon me?
He did hear the bees and the tapping.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
That's
Thank you. And yes, okay. So he didn't see anything, but he heard the bees in the vent and the tapping on the window. We watched in the 2024 Mothman episode, which noted Rockford, Illinois. There were negative vibes there. I grew up in a small town of Heron, Illinois, and my husband's from Antioch. I'm getting these pronunciations pretty good. We only lived in Rockford from 2010 to 2014 in the same apartment. I've ruled out a person, foliage, trash, and animals from the noises. The huge bat in my doorway was a paranormal being. I figured if there were larger winged humanoid creatures, there are probably smaller ones. I only saw it one time, thankfully. I blinked and rubbed my eyes to make sure of what I was seeing before waking up my hubby. I covered my head and told myself it was nothing, but I saw something. Note, we received reports from other winged humanoid witnesses that included other explained supernatural aspects of these beings, including observations of them in a home or other indoor locations. Also, there have been a few instances when the being would simply vanish or manifest. The Rockford, Illinois area experienced several supernatural related experiences involving winged humanoids. Wow.
Yeah, we've gotten some pretty interesting case reports up in Rockford. And in fact, that's where we did the filming for the show up in Rockford.
Okay, so this is the first report that we have talked about that had these bee sounds coming from the ventilation system.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Well, in paranormal terms, and for me, yeah, because I have done several investigations, not necessarily cryptid investigations, but paranormal or hauntings where that bee or buzzing sound normally means that you're close to a portal. And I've had other people tell me the same thing. Now, is there a portal involved with this case? I don't know. But because she brought it up, it may very well be something associated with a portal. And quite frankly, that's the first report of this winged humanoids where we've received something like that, possibly connecting it to a portal. So that is an interesting aspect of that report.
Okay, I'm a little confused here with this portal thing and hearing the sound of bees. Do we think that's a sound created by the portal? Is that what
I think it is. I mean, from what I've experienced and from others experienced, I think it's either an activation of a portal or a gateway or something. I mean, some of us do believe that this Mothman phenomena is an interdimensional or some type of ultra terrestrial being. And by that bee buzzing sound being mentioned prominently in this report kind of lends credence to it. Though, of course, it's all anecdotal, but it may very well be one of the few examples that we received that these may actually be interdimensional beings.
Wow, I've never heard of that. Thank you for filling us in on that. That sounds absolutely enlightening. This case here with the creature hanging upside down, is that normal? Because most of those ones that I've heard you talk about, the creature is always up in a tree or flying away or levitating.
The sightings that we have gotten from inside a location, either in a home or in a business or such, they do have some different parts of it that aren't normally seen with the outside sightings. And the fact that this thing was upside down, I mean, I don't know what that really means, but if that's what she saw, that's what she saw. Now, why it did that, I have no idea.
Is that normal?
No, not really. Now, I tell you, these reports I'm giving you tonight, I mean, these came directly from the producers of Unsolved Mysteries, and we had to wait about 2 months till they compiled everything, and they sent it to us. We got about 130 plus reports from them, from viewers contacting them, and about 35 of them are related to Chicagoland sightings. And we've got some worldwide sightings in there too that we're going to eventually look into. But the Mothman, or the winged humanoids, it's a worldwide phenomena, and people ask me about that. But we do get case reports from all over the world, quite frankly.
You mentioned that you believe this is an interdimensional type creature. You believe that that's what it is.
I do believe
Your
that.
thoughts on why you believe that, rather than being some sort of hellhound or something along those lines?
Well, there's a few things. Many people have seen these things literally manifest in front of them, or literally vanished in front of them. And there have been, and when it comes to the sightings around the airport, around O'Hare, there seem to be a lot of sightings around the cemetery there. And I believe that there's one or two, if not more, portals or rifts there to where they're coming in and out. Now, I think there's other places as well. We just have not defined any of those. As well, I this kind of tends to back up the theory that there have been more than one of these beings, because many times, even especially early on, we were receiving reports of the same being in different locations at the same time. But there always have been differences or small differences to these creatures. I think just like any other being that's on Earth or possibly in another dimension, they may actually have races. So there may be different variations. I think Bigfoot, I think there are races of Bigfoot. Yeah, I think there are some that are, indigenous and not supernatural beings, but I think I think for the vast majority of them and other cryptids that they may very well be some type of supernatural being.
I wonder if they are. I personally believe that they are.
Yeah,
but there's always that wonder of what's going on.
Well, that's why we do what we do. I mean, hopefully as time goes on, we'll be able to gather evidence that may lend some credence to that theory. But, at this point, we really don't have it. It's all speculation. But as time has gone on over the years, and, I've been involved with this for a long time, I think people are more open-minded to it now because we just have not found as much physical evidence as we should have, especially if these beings die and they're not leaving bodies or any other type of physical evidence. I think more and more investigators are starting to look at that theory.
I think we got time for one more story here before we have to go to break. OMG. I've seen Mothman 7 times. I live at the 5100 block of North Kenmore Avenue on an upper floor, and my bedroom window looks over the big black building on Lake Michigan. My roommate has called me crazy every time I told him that I thought it was an alien with wings. Now, you contacted this witness for additional information, and you wrote down, the witness, Ryan, stated one night in early July 2024, he had gone to bed around 8 p.m. He has a shift job that begins early in the morning. Around 8:45, 9 o'clock, he awakened and was looking out his bedroom window towards the north. It was dark by that time. He was directed to the Park Tower condominium located at 5419 North Sheridan Road in the Edgewater section of Chicago. What caught his attention was the bright laser-like red light that projected from the roof of the Park Tower condominium approximately 6 blocks northeast of his location. When he looked more intently, he observed a humanoid figure with wings standing on the roof, backlit by the lights of the building of the roof. As he watched, the humanoid unfurled its wings, quickly ascended off the roof, and flew towards Lake Michigan. He described the winged humanoid as dark in color, about 7 feet minimum in height, thin-bodied with a wingspan of 15 plus feet total. The wing structure and type were not discernible. He quickly felt a sense of fear, got out of bed, and told his roommate that there was an alien on the tall black building north of them. Ryan states that he had seen the winged humanoid several more times since the initial sighting, always seen standing on the Park Tower condominium roof. The intense fear swells in him each time he has observed the being. He had never heard of this phenomena previous or after his sightings. Ryan was relieved that his sightings were now validated after watching the Unsolved Mysteries episode and reading my reports, your reports, Lon. I found Ryan's testimony to be very credible. Attempts to capture a photograph have been futile since the sightings are at night and at a 6-block distance. This is incredible, Lon.
Yeah, that thing must have had some size to it. I think for him being able to see it at that distance, it was probably bigger than 7 foot. But yeah, I mean, this isn't unusual. People seeing these things hanging around buildings at night, especially on the roof. I've had other people who have stayed in hotels and have seen something very similar near, while looking out the hotel window and condominium windows, because there are a lot of condominiums up and down the lakefront. So, yeah, this isn't that unusual as far as the sighting goes. But, yeah, we do get a lot of sighting reports from residents that do live in condos.
The fact that this thing looked like Batman on a building, and I'm not saying that to be sarcastic, but literally looked like right out of the sea to Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put stock into that's what he was seeing compared to maybe a sleepy imagination or a dream?
Well, I mean, the only way you can really discern it as being an actual sighting is when you're talking to them and the way they tell you about it. Ryan in particular was very animate about what he saw, which a lot of witnesses really are. I mean, they have no idea. And of course, the TV show validated a lot of that. They have no idea what they saw. They remember it. Remember we had a sighting report in Chicago from a post office worker, and we talked about this before, who had seen it 5 or 6 years previous to that. And when he came across one of my reports, it just, it sparked a memory. And he had evidence or some photographic evidence of the location, and was very specific about what he saw. So once again, we have another very specific type of sighting. And hopefully we're going to get more of those, because this is what we're looking for.
Are you surprised that one person has seen it that many times?
I don't know how many times he's actually seen it. Tobias told me today that he talked to him as well, and he doesn't think he saw it more than one time. Now, I don't know if he embellished on it or not. I don't know. Maybe he saw something else, but wasn't sure what he saw. Some people, when you have a situation like that, when you see something, maybe perception or your mind kind of makes you want to see it again. I don't think that's the case, but then again, I don't know. But that's not the first time this has happened. I've had a couple people who have had multiple sightings of it and of these beings. So,
Lon, we're going to get you to hold on right there. Strange Things, Lon Strickler, continue on Spaced Out Radio right now. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, Lon, we got about 6 minutes here.
okay.
Be right back, okay? I'm just going to put you in the green. All right. There we go. Be right back, people. Where's Dirty Filth when you need him? All right. We're back. Lon's back. Let's quickly scroll down here. Who do we have? Let's go like this. Bring Lon back in. There he is. Excuse me.
Hey, you getting any more snow up there?
Not yet. Well, it tried to snow today. It tried, but it was too warm and wet.
Mm. Yeah,
it's coming.
We're going to get a few 80 degree days yet, but
that's just too
we
bad.
have gotten a frost, but
yeah,
we got our Indian summer, so
mm-hmm. Yeah, you see, I feel really bad for you right now.
Mm-hmm. I like the cool weather. I mean, I like the fall weather. I don't like the snow, but I like the fall weather.
I like it when my friends go hunting with me rather than doing honeydew lists. Yeah, that's a shot at you there, Tim. All right, big thank you tonight to Pam Harris, Area 53, Gizmo, Noble Patrick, Scott, Ozzy Ange, and Richard for the great super chats. Appreciate the love and support, everybody. You guys are awesome. Awesome. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. Here we go. Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. This is a fun show to do because we were talking Mothman stories. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tulpa. Tulpa is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Here's Lon Strickler from phantomsofmonsters.com. You can find all of his books on his website or on Amazon. And we are talking Mothman stories here. Lon, thank you so much for being here with us. Really appreciate it.
Always good to be with you.
We're going to start off with some audience questions before we get to more stories. Brown Dwarf is kicking things off tonight. Why did they leave canned beans for the Mothman statue?
Well, from what I understand, this has something to do with the Fallout 76 internet meme or story or whatever it is. Apparently, baked beans are some type of food item that summon a Mothman into the game itself. Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not into any of that. I have wondered that myself and asked people, and that seems to be what it is. You know, it was kind of a big thing on TikTok for a while. So, but beyond that, I really don't know anything else about it.
Let's continue on here. Let's go to audio. Lon, what role does consciousness play in paranormal experiences?
I think it does play a role in some cases. I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with what I have encountered or what I have experienced, because being an intuitive or being conscious of the energy around me. As far as cryptids go, I don't really know. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know how much of a role it plays, but yeah, somebody mentioned it plays a role in quantum computing. Absolutely, it does, and it will become more prevalent as time goes on.
Here's another one. It's from Derek. Can you speak of the three ley lines that intersect across Chicago? And do you believe this is what brings more sightings of the phenomena?
There are literally hundreds of ley lines extending from the lake west, going west through Chicago and Chicagoland. Literally hundreds. The ones that we're interested in, or what I'm interested in, are the two ley lines that I know that go through the airport. Now, it's not that I can necessarily detect those, or you have to be able to define it through some type of mediumship or some type of intuitive awareness. But as far as when I have been involved with remote viewing or doing other type of work similar to that, running into or identifying a ley line have come into play. Now, does it have anything to do with the Chicago sightings? I really don't know. Though some of those sightings have been close to areas where ley lines are supposedly at. So, but no, Chicago probably has more ley line activity or more ley lines identified than most cities in the United States.
I never knew that about it. Let's go over to T-Bone. Have there been any Indrid cold sightings in Chicago?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, but being Chicago, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there were. But I haven't seen any reports of it.
See, if I was in Chicago right now, I'd open up an Indrid cold bar. How wicked would that be? Blue Cruz is asking, was there a case where Mothman flew into a residential homeowner's garage and hung upside down for a few days without interacting with any humans residing in the home?
I don't know. I mean, that's a new one to me. If it did, I didn't hear anything about it. Especially, I mean, I don't know if could have been a Mothman or some other type of winged humanoid. I don't know, but I don't know of that.
Sir Wolf is asking, Lon, have you ever experienced absolute evil, fear, or attachments?
I have experienced an attachment. I had an attachment, and this is another story I'm going to have to go into sometime. I had an attachment from a case that I investigated back in the early 80s that lingered with me until about 3 or 4 years ago. And I know which entity it was, but I never felt it until it was removed. And I was laid up for a couple of days because of it. And maybe that's something we can talk about at another show. But yeah, I have experienced it. Now, I have experienced psychic attacks, especially during RVs. I have experienced psychic attacks during on-site investigations. I mean, literally physical psychic attacks. So, yeah, it does happen, and I have experienced it.
It's not fun when you get attacked.
No.
Let me tell you, not fun whatsoever. All right, let's continue on here. Let's go to Sierra, who is asking, how did you remove the entity?
I had someone else remove it. Someone who was intuitive, was psychic, and we actually did it here in my home. They recognized the actual entity itself, not knowing any background about the investigation I had done. But I will tell you, when it was removed, it's like it just changed me. It really did. Quite frankly, I my whole physical and mental I don't know, life or my degree of mental life or my intuitiveness had definitely increased after that happened. That happened in the end of 2021. And quite frankly, I the past 3 years since that happened, my medical issues have been resolved for the most part. I've done a lot of different things that I probably would not have done. And I do believe that attachment being removed had a big part to do with it.
I don't quite understand this next question, but I think it's interesting. This is from Major Lee over in the UK. Can you speak of the Sasquatch Skittles phenomena that suggests they only like orange Skittles? Is there a link with the orange spectrum?
I don't even know I don't even know how to answer that one. I have heard a reference to that before, but I have no evidence of that actually happening or being true at all.
I don't know. I really don't. I've never heard of that. T-Bone is wondering, Lon, in your opinion of Dr. Travis Taylor about bovine blood being used for space and time.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't necessarily like talking about other individuals, especially those that are on TV. I don't know what to think about that. I really don't have much. The whole cattle mutilation abduction thing. I don't know if it has anything to do with actual physical parts of the cattle or whatever. I don't know. I mean, he's a scientist. He probably knows better than I do. So we'll just leave it at that.
Audio is asking, do you think it's possible to see somebody while they're remote viewing?
Oh yeah. I've done that. And I think in the other, on the other foot, I mean, as far as going into remote view and somebody seeing me during the remote view, I had that happen one time. And the monitor who I was working with had to pull me out of the situation because it was getting dangerous.
How
Because
did they know?
we both recognized it because I look, through my RV, I sensed that it was looking directly at me. And I mentioned it and they pulled me out quick. I don't know what would have happened, but because of the what's involved in an RV and the subconscious mind, it could have probably turned out bad. Now, could I have actually had some type of physical attack? I don't know. When you're going through time space like that, but basically when you're picking up on something, it's not really supposed to happen in an RV because it's not a psychic endeavor. It's an evidence collecting endeavor, but many times it will go into that realm of being a psychic situation. So, and I think that's what happened to me. I think I kind of lost track during the phasing, and I think that's how I recognized, but I may very well have manifested on the other side somehow.
Was this person coming after you in the remote view, or did they find you?
I kind of showed up to where they were, and it was looking at me. It wasn't they, it was an it.
Do you know what it was?
It was a reptilian.
Oh my.
Yeah. It was an off-planet RV, and it was a reptilian being.
Oh my word. So when it saw that you had entered its space in the ether, how did it react?
It was looking right at me. It was looking right in my direction, and it seemed to indicate that it saw something and kind of started moving towards me. Now, I mentioned it as it happened, and we pulled out of it quickly. It does happen.
Do you find that in a situation like that, that you have are you communicating with the person who you're remote viewing by, just letting them know what you're seeing
Yeah.
at that point?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, when you're doing an RV, especially a coordinated remote view, or even a scientific remote view, you go through phases. And if you're just doing a one-on-one thing where you have a monitor and who's actually conducting the questioning, and the viewer is giving detail as we go through the phasing, I will normally mention what I'm experiencing. And when I told her that what I was near, what this being, what this being was, and that it was looking at my direction, and I believe that it was looking right at me somehow, she pulled me out.
Was she fearful for your safety? Was there danger for you?
She seemed to think it was. Yeah, she wasn't taking any chances. But yeah, it was actually during a training session we were doing on an off-world remote view, and it was my first time I had done an off-world remote view session, and we were in like a cavern-like area. I don't know what planet it was. I don't know what it was, but this reptilian being was. It looked more like a T-Rex as opposed to a reptilian humanoid. It was kind of more like a velociraptor type thing with that size, but it was eyeing me. And
did it communicate with you?
No, it was just moving towards me, and that's when she pulled me out.
When you mentioned that it was moving towards you, was it doing the slow slinking thing, or was it moving quickly towards you?
Oh, it was moving slowly, but it was moving towards me directly. I was probably at the closest point, maybe 50 foot from it. I was pretty close. I mean, that RV was so distinct. I was picking up, and it can happen on an RV. You can pick up odors, lighting, all your senses do tend to come into play. And there was a very humid in there. It was almost like wet. The walls were kind of wet, and kind of the floor was, I don't know, it was like, honestly, it was like gelatin actually. And it was weird. And we were in I was in an area where it seemed to be some type of equipment, monitoring equipment. It was a room, but it was at the end of a cavern that I traveled through. And this thing happened to be there, and there were two other beings there, but they looked human. They were sitting at a control panel of some type. So when this thing looked over at me, I was watching it really close because, first of all, I'd never seen anything like that or even perceived anything like that. But when it looked at me and started moving towards me, I mentioned it, and she pulled me right out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the reason for the monitor. Not only do they direct you to the phasing of the actual view itself, but if there's an issue, they can pull you out quickly.
Did you feel threatened by this thing?
Yeah, I did. I was pretty frightened by it.
Have you ever had that happen again?
Nope. That was the only time. Now, I did have an encounter with an entity one time later that did cause some physical harm to me. I had about a 12-inch laceration down my chest to my stomach. that did draw blood. And in fact, I showed some of the people I was working with later on what it looked like. And but it does. I mean, physical attacks can happen to an RV.
Paramarv has a question about this. Can you discuss what your target was when the reptilian noticed you? I'm curious what they were looking for.
We were looking for an off-world location. Basically, it wasn't anything specific or a specific planet or a specific area. When we went through the coordinates and went through the ideogram into the first phase of the RV, I saw this cave or cavern. It was a huge opening, and she allowed me to move through it. And that's why I was at that location. I had no idea what I was getting into or going to. And of course, when you're doing an RV, you think you're safe. But that your subconscious mind can really play tricks on you sometime. And look, it's not supposed to be anything psychically inclined, but invariably when I'm doing it, when I get to the fourth or fifth phase of the RV, it always plays a role in that, especially when we're after the RV and we're going through the notes and everything. Many times when you're working with several people in several locations during the RV, and when you come together to compare notes, many times the psychic thing kicks in, and then you're starting to pick up more clues or more details about the location itself.
Audio is asking, did you ever remote view David Eckert's situation? Any of that? If you don't mind speaking on it. I only asked because of the reptilian reference.
Yeah, we were blocked several times. I remember doing 5 different RV sessions for David. Me and the same person who was monitoring, and by the time we got to the third phase, we got shut out. So they knew we were RVing them.
Weird, man.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It is weird.
Let's go over to Art on LinkedIn. I believe that I've been studied by extraterrestrials for most of my life. I'm in Missouri, and I've been studying ETs for over 16 years. I've seen objects shaped like giant moths, but I don't believe it was Mothman. What causes these beings to seek out certain people and study them for years at a time? And no, I do not have Rh negative blood, and the visits are still ongoing.
Well, first of all, I'm kind of curious if they live near Pacific, Missouri. Maybe they can come back and tell us that, because there seem to be a lot of very similar type of sightings in Pacific, Missouri. I've received a lot of case loads from there. As far as people or families or generations being abducted and studied. Yeah, I don't know if the Rh negative blood type has really anything to do with it, but I think generational wise, they like to keep it within families, because I have literally talked to dozens and dozens of family members who have had similar experiences 3, 4, 5 generations. So there is something to that. Why they do it, I don't know. But I think a lot of it has to do, and my theory about abductions is that they're seeking something that they may have had at some point in time that humans possess. And I think they're curious by it, and I think they want to try to regain it. And that is the understanding of an afterlife.
Lon, hold on right there. We're going to go to break. Lon Strickler, Strange Days till the top of the hour. Coming up next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we're clear, Lon. That was good times right there. Very good times. Good questions tonight, people.
Yeah, that's some good questions.
Keep them up.
Tell people I suggest them to read my book, Alien Disclosure. I have a lot of that in there. It's an audio book, too.
I want to see you write a book that has lots of swear words in it.
That won't get published. It might get published, but it won't sell much. I don't know. I try to limit that as much as possible. I haven't written a book in at least 2 years, but we are working on some projects now. Me and the guys over at Expanded Perspectives, who I'm friends with and are colleagues, Cam and Kyle, we're working on a Glimmerman book.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a subject that's not covered a lot. There's a lot of pop culture in there with, the Predator and movies and all that. And there's a lot of Hollywood connection with the phenomena too. So, yeah, we're working on that. So, don't know when we're going to get it done, but we've been talking about it and working on it for a while now. So
that's good, man.
I've got 2 books I've been sitting on for 2 years. I could write 3 more books about Chicago, but I don't really, I don't really know if that's going to be a seller or not. And it's not that I really want to write to make a lot of money off it. I mean, I realize the information should go out there, but I've got so much on the website people can find as well. But and because of Butch, I think I should write a book about the cryptid canines, especially in Pennsylvania, in this area. So,
I think you should too.
Yeah, I told Butch I would years ago, and I just really haven't gotten around to it. But
oh, what the? Come on, man. What's going on there? We got about 2 minutes, Lon.
Okay.
Flat 6, how you doing? Dogface Simon, good to see you. Get those questions into Lon. Put them in capital letters, please. There we go. 90 seconds. Man, I just hit a wall. Oh, man. All of a sudden, I'm like tired of. I finished the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Absolutely, I did.
Boy, I hate that when that happens. That has happened to me live on air before where I just like all of a sudden, bam.
I know. You finished that last Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, and all of a sudden you wanted to crawl into bed. It used to happen a lot more when I wasn't on my CPAP.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, CPAP or BiPAP really does stop you from falling asleep in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it does.
It's much more restful, and that was a lifesaver for me. I've been on BiPAP.
Now, if I could get certain people in this office to undo their honeydew chores so they could go hunting out in the fresh air. Know anybody like that, Tim? No, not at all. Uh-huh. Yep. You had a CPAP. You'd have been hunting on the weekend. Mm-hmm. All right, 19 seconds. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Ozzy Ann, Scott, Noble Patrick, Gizmo, Area 53, and Richard. Appreciate the love and support. Don't forget to shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. People, no ugly swag. All right. Lon's like, I do this show monthly, and it's getting weirder and weirder. What a jerk. Here we go. Here we go, the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in and enjoying all the questions on social media channels. Lon Strickler will be back here momentarily till the top of the hour. But first, reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. We are also on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Phantomsandmonsters.com, Lon Strickler, Strange Days. It all culminates to this final half hour right before All Hallows Eve. And Lon, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good to be here, Dave.
He's the man of excitement right there. Like, hey, Lon, tone it down a little bit. Come on. Blue Cruise is here. God, I love. You know what? I'm just going to say a true story here for a second before I get to this question. The first time I had Lon on the show, first couple times, this is way before, like when Butch Witkowski was still with us and everything. And I had Lon a couple times. And Lon would just sit there very stoic, but I didn't get it. And he literally scared the crap out of me because I literally thought I was giving Lon a horrible interview. I did. Lon, I don't think I've ever told you that story. I thought I was giving you a horrible interview. And you were just like, can we just get this over with? Like, you were a moron. You're probably the kind of guy, who trips over his own feet on a sidewalk. Right. I could totally, I felt that. I was so like scared of Lon. I totally was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm probably more animated now than I used to be at the time, but that's not much.
Now, like we go back, like this go back like 6-7 years ago now. Oh God, I love Lon. Love Lon. All right, let's go to Blue Cruise.
You asked that question before.
Yeah, we already asked that question. Let's not go to Blue Cruise. Let's go to Savage Grammy, who will literally hit you with a steel chair and smile about it. She's asking, Lon, can you feel if someone is remote viewing you?
I think some entities or some beings can pick that up. I believe that has happened to me, especially with doing the David Eckhart's situation where they were picking up on, I think they were picking up on us and literally cutting us off. I mean, we just went blank. I just stopped being able to pick up on anything. I have talked to professional RVers in the past who seem to think that though it's not necessarily proven that it can actually happen.
I've done it. Not going to lie. I've done it. And if you tune in and you start talking about some real secret type stuff, I was in a remote viewing session with Science Bob. And And I'd never been to Bob's house. I said, Bob, do you have a window behind you? And he goes, yeah. I said, is it a big bay window like in your kitchen? He goes, yeah. I said, do you have a tree on the other side of that window, like a big oak tree or something like that? He goes, absolutely. I said, look behind you. There's a shadow right beside that tree of someone watching you. And he turned and looked and he saw a shadow.
Mm.
And it was like, oh my God. Freaky.
Anybody can RV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the steps and do it properly, anybody can do it.
Major Lee wants to know, greetings, Lon. Any advice on being or having communication with unsettling past events and how to filter them while doing day-to-day activities?
I don't know. I guess I guess a situation like that would require regression therapy, regression hypnosis. Though you got to find the right person to do it. I have been lucky enough to been able to witness several regression hypnotic sessions in the past. That's the only way I think it could be done. But that's going to take a third party. I mean, as far as somebody being able to do that, you'd have to be very intuitive and very psychic to do that.
Audio is asking, Lon, do the Hollywood references happen in these movies possibly on accident because the people may be a type of download, or if they're subconscious reaching out and retrieving this information?
That's an interesting question because honestly, I think a lot of the pulp culture and movie memes that have become more and more prevalent in the real paranormal encrypted world are no accident. I think these were experiences that either the playwright or someone who wrote a book or somebody else had expounded on and became part of a film or a presentation of some type. But when it happens in real life and it's directly connected to the phenomena in that presentation, I don't think it's an accident. I think it actually happens.
But it's amazing how, you look at some movies or some books, and it's amazing how tapped in they really, really seem to be. I mean, look at the, the conspiracy around The Simpsons and all the predictions that they've made. And they've made some pretty weird predictions, and they seem to all of a sudden come true years later. It's like they looked into the future.
Yeah, I think there's really something to that. I keep bringing up the Predator film series and that phenomena, the cloaking phenomena, and as many times as it's been reported to us, but there is an actual connection there. Now, I'm not going to go into it, but there is an actual connection with somebody very famous who had a son who worked on that film.
Which film again? Pardon me?
The Predator films.
Oh, really? Very interesting. What do you think then about, say, something along the lines of movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind? I mean, that movie is so real.
Yeah.
And yet, was it Spielberg or
Spielberg?
Yeah, Spielberg to this day says that, this is all information that was kind of made up.
Well, that just goes to show that what you may believe is made up isn't necessarily made up. There may be some type of I don't know. Somebody said download. Maybe it's something that somebody had experienced and didn't realize, and it came out in some other some other way. I believe that does happen.
I don't know. It's just weird sometimes. Let's go to Derek. Lon, is there any place on Earth that you would love to go research the most?
Yeah, I'd like to go to Great Britain and do some work there on a variety of things. Quite frankly, there's a lot that I would like to look into. I mean, between cryptids and hauntings and some of and I'm into British history anyway. Some of the possibilities of extraterrestrial connections with the history of England and Great Britain. That's one place I would definitely want to go, and I've never been there. And but there are other places as well. I mean, you know, I think anywhere I'd go, I'd be able to find something that would interest me.
I think I would like to try that haunted forest. I think it's in Bulgaria or Bolivia or someplace like that, where they got nothing grows in the middle of that circle. And they say there's a demon in
that's
there.
Romania.
Or Romania, yeah. I'd like to go there.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Romania too. I have a few friends there, and I have thought about it. Maybe not now because of the war in Ukraine, but yeah, maybe that, you know, and since they're a NATO country now, it's much easier to get in and out of there. Of course, it's the Iron Curtain is not there anymore.
Yes,
but yeah, Romania is fascinating to me.
I'd also like to go looking for Sasquatch at Mount St. Helens. That would be fun.
Yep.
Let's go to Paramarv. Have you ever been encouraged not to discuss a topic or cryptid for some reason?
Yeah, on 3 occasions.
Oh, I never do this.
Yeah, I've talked about this.
I have no
I have been approached by the powers to be, or powers that be, about certain cases I've been involved with, or certain individuals who I've been associated with that have caused issues within government alphabet agencies. I have been approached 3 times over the years. The last time was in 2015. But it has happened. Well, I was working on a situation where an individual thought that he was being infiltrated by military and government types on his property. And I was looking into a few things. In the meantime, this guy was just bugging the hell out of his congressperson. And they got fed up with it, and they got a hold of NSA and started complaining about it. So I was in my doctor's office. This was May of 2015, I think it was. I was in my doctor's office, and it was pretty packed that day. There was a lot of people in there, so the waiting room was packed. So the nurse came, took me back in the examination room. I'm sitting there, and then there's a knock on the door in the examination room. Nurse comes in and says, "Mr. Strickler, there are 2 people out here who want to talk to you. We can't let them come back here, but you're going to have to go out and meet them." I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is this all about? So I said, okay. So I walked out into the waiting room, and there's a man and a woman standing there. Guy's in a black suit, woman's in a black dress and white top. And there's 20 people in the waiting room, and they pull their badges. Mr. Strickler, we're at the National, with the NSA and National Security Administration. We'd like to talk to you in front of everybody. We have secured an office across the hallway, and we'd like to interview you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we went across the hallway and we sat down, and they started asking me about this gentleman. And they basically told me, well, though we don't think you're involved in anything that would cause a national security issue, we'd like you to back off with this guy. And they gave me the reason why, because, he'd been bugging government officials and stuff. And we suggest, Butch knew about it. I told Butch about it. And yeah, so I backed off. I told the guy, I said, look, when I start having the feds coming to the door, that's it for me.
You are oot. You are oot when that happens. I've never, and I've said this to our audience.
I thought I told you that.
No. I've never got the phone call. This is where I think it's funny when you get these people who have like 87 followers on their podcast or YouTube channel. They're like, oh man, I was followed by black SUVs out there today. And they were following me, and I was in the drive-thru at Starbucks, and they paid for my drink. And, and then they waved at me afterwards, and I just turned the corner because I was so scared, because they were wearing uniforms underneath that said Max Towing, right?
Mm-hmm. No, that actually happened. I had two other situations previous to that where they came to my door and just asked me a few questions, but they were with the government. They were both with the Air Force, actually.
What's funny is I've never got that. I'm so jealous. Someone do this 10 years. Someone come knock at the door. I will show them that we do not have ugly swag. No ugly swag, people. None whatsoever. But seriously, I mean, not that I'm trying to put like an omen out on myself or anything, but I've been doing this 10 years. I've never got the phone call. I've never got now I have talked to people who have been warned.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that. I can't say who, but I'm sure people can figure it out. But I've never got the phone call. I've never got the email. I've never got the knock on the door. Like, I'm handsome. I deserve some of that.
It's not the nicest situation, man.
I know it's not, but there are certain things I want just once in my life. Just once. So for any of the alphabet agencies, out there, you already have my phone number. Just give me a call one time and just give me a warning. I don't care. It can be about anything. Maybe it's my mismatching socks at times. I don't care.
Now, when Butch and I were working on this Todd Cease thing, I believe they were monitoring us on that.
I believe
Butch, Butch thought so as well. I mean, there was a lot of weird stuff going on, where evidence would show up all of a sudden online, and then people would come forward to try to give us some answers, to try to get us to back off looking at certain things. That whole investigation that we did touch a nerve. So I it's not that I necessarily backed off of it because of being scared or thinking I was going to get into something deeper than what I really should have. But Butch and I both thought that they were watching us.
That doesn't surprise me on the Todd C's case.
Mhm.
Have you given up on that one?
Oh, every once in a while something will come up and I'll look back at it, but there's just really nothing that's opening up. I mean, I think Butch and I, especially when Butch got the autopsy reports, and that we came forward and told and presented all the evidence we had. That pretty well ended it as far as any more information being opened up to us. But every once in a while, somebody will contact me and say something or tell me something that I will look into. But so far, it hasn't progressed to anything earth shaking or So I don't know. Maybe one day, but I don't know.
Savage Grammy asking, Lon, before the break, you mentioned Mothman may be interested in our afterlife experiences. Please elaborate.
Wasn't Mothman, it was reptilians.
Oh.
I believe that's a scenario as to why people are abducted. That these beings that are involved with these abductions are evolved humans that through whatever reason, in the future, they lose certain aspects of humanity that we possess and they no longer possess. And I think they're a little jealous of us. And I think the afterlife and our intuitive abilities and maybe other things like the way we believe in certain deities and in religion, and even though they have claimed to David that they do have deities that they look up to, but I think that whole human nature thing, human life force, and our beliefs in the afterlife, I think they're jealous of that, and I think they study us to try to regain that. That's just my feeling, but I from what I have seen in over the years, and what I've been involved with abductees and experiencers, I think there's something to that.
2 minutes. Let's see if we can finish off a couple more. Sir Wolf is asking, Lon, have you RV'd a past life or experienced a past life regression?
I haven't gone through a past life regression. I have witnessed several. I don't think I've ever had a past life experience, because if I did, I don't remember it. But many times when people, just like with abductions, go through an experience like that, it may take years before it surfaces.
All right, moving on. J Truth Seeker is asking, have you ever remote viewed and connect with friendly humans like ETs or friendly human like ETs?
Not through RV. No, not through an RV.
Final question. How many hours did it take you to learn how to remote view?
It took 11 months of training 5 days a week through Skype, because the person I worked with used to work for MI6. They were trained as a remote viewer, and it took about 11 months. So you figure 20 hours a week for 11 months. It takes a commitment. It's not something you can just read a book and do. I have had several people ask me about training them for RVing, or have me suggest on how to learn to remote view. And the first thing I tell them is find somebody who knows how to do it first before you grab the book.
Love it. Lon,
but anybody can do it.
On Spaced Out Radio, my man. We will talk to you next month. Appreciate you, my friend.
Okay. You have a good week.
Lon Strickler's Strange Days, phantomsofmonsters.com. Coming up next, Swamp Dweller, followed up by the UFO report and Tim Cedar. We're coming back right after this.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
Great job, Lon. Thank you very much.
I'll talk to you soon, man.
Love you, buddy. Take care.
Take care. Mm-hmm.
That's little Lonnie Strickler, everybody. We'll be right back. All right. All right. Thank you tonight to Richard Minnick, Ozzy Ann, Scott's Life, Noble Patrick, Gizmo, Area 53, Pam Harris, Simon, and T-Bone for the great super chats. How did I miss 261 messages? Parasolo, how you doing? What else? Who else is here? Lunico, how are you? We just ran out of time for questions. I apologize, guys. Babylon Rose, nice to see you. Fapperoni. Earth Goat Trees. Alien Critter, nice to see you. Hillbilly Herb. What's happening? Love that name. Love that name. There we go. We're caught up. All right. Let's check your camera here. Oh, you don't look too bad.
It's a matter of opinion.
Well, you got plaid on, so. Jamie R., welcome to SOR chat. She even threw us a heart, everybody. Look at that. Here we go, the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for tuning us in. We greatly appreciate earning your listening ears, even if you didn't bring these people. Oh, I love those. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, good to have you here. All right. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Tulpa. Tulpa is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp. It was around late August, early September in 2012 when I lived in a farmhouse in northwestern Pennsylvania, about an hour-and-a-half drive from the New York state line, that used to be owned by an Amish family until they moved to New York. I was aware of the UFO phenomenon as my late grandfather was also someone who claimed to have seen UFOs. He was a semi-driver for a living, so let me set the scene. My house was near the top of a big hill that stretched down from the road up to our driveway, about 30 yards. We had pictures further up the hill and a neighbor to the left of the house about 100 yards away. I was getting close to winter, so we were gearing up and getting ready and getting our wood from the woods onto the right side of the pasture. The pasture was a very overgrown because of this, and I, at the 16 at the time, had to use our brush hog, tractor for mowing large weeds and small trees for those who do not know. We had to use this to mow a path to the woods that was around 600 yards away, give or take, so that we could go cut the trees and drag them down to the house to be cut and split. So as I'm finishing up the last pass for the path, I'm driving up the hill on the tractor and I'm looking towards the sky because it was almost dusk. I was looking at the clouds and admiring my new home's view when out of nowhere, right above the tree line about 300 yards away, 2 UFOs suddenly came into view. One first, then the other, as if the second was chasing the first. They seemed to have warped to the location I saw, and then, very quickly, they disappeared. It was more quick than anything I had ever seen. They shot towards my left. They looked very shiny as the setting sun glared off the top of them, and I clearly saw a dome on top. I was so shocked that I stopped the tractor and ran back down to my brother where he was next to my father. I was so shocked that I stopped the tractor and ran back down to the house and ran inside. I was the only one home at the time as my mother worked as a CNA for a local care home and my brother was at his father's for the summer. After I saw the 2 UFOs, I became ever more paranoid that I was being watched, especially at night. There was one night my younger brother ran up to our bedroom and woke me up saying that he saw a face in the window of our living room, and he specifically said an alien face. I, being the older brother, felt I needed to show no fear, so I jumped up and went downstairs to our porch and opened the door and saw nothing, but got very intense chills and the feeling of eyes piercing through me. We both about messed our pants when our indoor-outdoor cat jumped from the ground up to the porch. We told ourselves it was just him he saw, but I know deep down we both still feel like it wasn't him. Has anyone around northwestern Pennsylvania ever witnessed anything like this? I remember this so well, so I know I didn't just imagine it. I remember how terrified I was when I saw the UFOs because I used to listen to my grandfather talk about it, and that's sort of where I got the interest into the whole subject. I'd love to hear any thoughts. She owned a lot of land and my brother and I were allowed to go anywhere we wanted, as long as we stayed on the property and came back before dark. One day we decided to follow a creek all the way to its end, which resulted in us crossing the fence and leaving my grandma's property. We soon came across an old rundown cabin, and for some reason, we decided to go inside. It was probably young curiosity, I guess. As we stepped inside, it was as if we walked into a totally different cabin. From the outside, it was very old and almost falling apart, but on the inside, it was as if a family lived there. There were dishes on the table as if they had had dinner, and it actually smelled like spaghetti. The beds were all made up perfectly. Furniture was outdated, but still in good condition. The floor and the wallpaper were also in good condition. There was no dust or cobwebs, no dirt or damp smell. It was warm. It was as if the family left in a hurry and left all their belongings behind, and definitely not that long ago. We ran all the way back to my grandma's house, excited to tell her about our new discovery. After a good scolding about leaving the property and a game of 20 questions, my grandma wanted to see this place for herself because her closest neighbor wasn't even near the area we were describing to her. We all three set off to find the cabin. We followed the creek as we had done before, passed through the fence, and went all the way down to where the cabin was. Except, this time, there was no cabin. It was just gone. Like it vanished into thin air. We looked for an hour trying to find it and couldn't. My grandma finally decided it was time to go home. She was pretty mad at us for leaving the property, but she never discredited our claims of seeing this cabin. I look back on it and lots of weird things happened on the farm. I just never realized it until I was older. The supernatural was also very drawn to my grandma and my brother. They both have many paranormal experiences that I personally saw as well. They just were happening to me. If you want to hear more tellings of the farm or my family, just let me know. Thanks for sharing my story.
Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another great set of stories there. If you want more just like that, head on over to YouTube. Swamp Dweller's waiting for you. Yeah, he's waiting for you to hit subscribe, ring that bell. You get thousands of stories just like that. All right, come on in, Tim, for the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
All right, Tim James hanging on out with us on the UFO report. Tim, good to have you here, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
It is good to have you here as we sit here and wonder what is heck going on in the UFO report.
Oh,
Man.
good. Yeah, there's some small stuff, nothing super major today, but I just wanted to compliment you on your Canadian sports coat today.
Thank you. Back to
Yep.
wearing plaid. That's right.
You got her. You got her.
So, would you like to explain to the public here, the public who wants to know,
Mhm.
why you turned down a day of hunting with me to do a honeydew list?
Wasn't a honeydew list. It was a, hey, Tim, you've been putting this off for long enough. Since I had the pack rat climbing through the roof, since I got a part of my gutter coming off, my siding coming up, like stuff needs to be done up here before winter. And I have been dropping the ball most drastically. It's that, yeah, I can do that tomorrow. And I can do that tomorrow. And then I'm looking around going, oh, I better get on this stuff. So, yeah.
That's what Saturday night at 11:30 to 2 a.m. is for.
Yeah, that's right. Get out there with my air hammer. Pachong, pachong, pachong.
I don't mind. The neighbors are far away. I know where your neighbors are.
They're right behind me.
That's right. You're doing the front of the house.
Yeah. Well,
It's just
partly.
a highway there.
Yeah, that's true too. Quit giving me a hard time, man.
No. I got at least 45 more minutes to give you a hard time on this.
Well, then let's have it.
Yeah. I decided something.
What'd you decide?
I'm 99.8% sure
Mm-hmm.
that on Halloween night,
Yes.
it will be my final ghost tour.
Yeah, you keep saying it, or alluding to it, I should say.
I'm pretty positive that I'm pretty done.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously on the inside, I work with you on that, and I get it. I get it. I don't blame you.
I love the ghost tour.
Yes, I do too.
Okay, I do. I love the ghost tour
Mm-hmm.
at the heritage site. But I wish they would just shut up and take our money.
I agree. And yeah, people that don't quite understand it. Yes, seems to be, it's all volunteer positions, and it seems to be some politics and whatever without getting too deep into it. But yeah, we're there, and obviously I started this year, but the money goes to the heritage site, and it's micromanaging, and it's a little too much at times. And yeah, I can understand your frustration after all the years you've been involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just have to say enough is enough.
I understand.
And I've decided that I would rather spend my Saturday nights
Mm-hmm.
out in the forest trying to get my Sasquatch ability going.
Yeah.
And I have more fun with that
Mm-hmm.
than I do with going around with a museum that continually changes buildings and changes things up.
Yeah.
And literally scares the ghosts right out of the buildings.
It is a buzzkill. I mean, quite honestly, it is a buzzkill. I've been involved, as you know, for this season, and it started out, it was, and everybody was amped up, and yeah, it just seems to, I don't know. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So I started this ghost tour in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's kind of like, it's just kind of like,
yeah,
it's just time to rock and roll.
You got that right.
And get the hell out of there. But
You betcha.
that's okay. They know better.
Yep.
They know better.
Yep.
So
You're right.
yeah. All right. Let us get right into the UFO report.
Sure.
Last week you broke a story.
Yes, I did.
That the Canadian government and the Sky Canada project
Mm-hmm.
was going to be delayed until November, maybe December.
Right.
And you re-emailed them, so I'll let you take that over.
Sure. So what I did is, obviously, I think I talked about it last week, and I emailed the government and said, hey, just thought I'd ask. Their response in Cole's notes was, they didn't say a delay. We're looking at November, December. So I emailed them back with a little bit of coaching from Dave, and I had said, where are we here? I had asked him, I said, so why the delay from October, and now why are we pushing it into November, possibly December? And the response back was, quote, hello, Tim. In fact, there is no real delay, as there has never been a hard deadline for that report. I was like, okay. At first, the goal was to complete the project before the end of Dr. Niemer's term as chief science advisor, i.e., September 2024. But then the prime minister renewed her mandate for another 3 years. So at this point, we believe we can complete the work in November if we have no other projects to work on. But recently, we published a report on the use of science for emergencies and another one on post-COVID condition. We are a small team. No one is completely dedicated to one single project. Thanks for asking. Regards, Luc Gauthier, Chief of Staff Officer of the Chief Science Advisory, Government of Canada.
I'm going to say two things about that.
Okay.
Number one, I loved the answer.
Yeah.
Okay. I did. I really loved the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, what I didn't like about the answer
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that there was a deadline.
Yeah.
They had said it was coming out in August or September.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get these answers from these government employees,
Right.
I think in Canadian terms, we get a little bit more honesty than what we see out of the US, which is usually very bland. Okay.
Fair to say.
You know, like wonton soup water without the wontons.
Yeah. Okay.
It's bland.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, I think the reason why there was the delay
Mhm.
was a couple months back, Dr. Mona Niemer, Canada's top scientist, had actually publicly griped in a memo that she was not getting cooperation
That's right.
from Canada's alphabet agencies. I'm going to challenge you because you're doing
Okay.
really good work on this so far.
All right.
I would challenge you to fire back at Mr. Luke there
Mm-hmm.
and say to them, thank you for the great answer.
Sure.
I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Could the delay be because many of these agencies in Canada did not provide their information on time as per a memo from Dr. Mona Niemer earlier this year?
Yeah. No, I'll
Keep
do
the
that.
conversation going.
Sure.
That's number one, you're going to build rapport.
Yes.
Number two, he's obviously interested in answering your questions.
And right away too. Like these aren't like 3-4 day later responses. These are like, within 12 hours.
Then run with it.
Yeah.
Build
Okay.
the conversation.
Yeah, I can do that.
Run with it. And I think that's great stuff right there. I
Cool.
really do. I'm very excited to see this report
Mhm.
for a couple of reasons. Not only because it's Canadian and I'm Canadian,
Yeah.
which I tend to, for some reason, say every show I'm Canadian. It's like
That's
I got to
okay.
remind myself.
Yeah.
You got the flag tattooed on you, Dave. You don't need to remind yourself. It's right there. Anyways, but the other reason why I'm very excited to see it
Mhm.
is because I think we're finally going to get an unbiased report
Mhm.
from a G7 country, from a Five Eyes country, a non-threat narrative country.
Yeah.
That is looking strictly at the science of it all.
Mhm.
Now, it may not, win Nobel Prizes over this.
Yeah, of course.
It may not have a movie made out of it, or even, heaven forbid, a CBC documentary. Okay. But on the flip side, I think we're going to get the less panic type report
Mhm.
rather than we got to spend millions on how to shoot these things down. The incursions over military bases.
Yeah.
They're going after our military. They took our guns.
Yeah.
Remember that South Park? They
Yeah.
took our guns.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening.
No, I don't either. And it's funny because when you're saying that, that was Niemer's big thing, is that this was supposed to be open and honest, and like you say, nothing catastrophic, right? Okay, we got a warehouse full of spacecraft, but basically getting down to the nuts and bolts and being as level-headed about it and coming together with all the information. And like you said, I think that's right. One of our greatest frustrations is the alphabet agencies here in Canada aren't really cooperating. But I like her intent, and not to say that, well, because we're Canadian, we're going to be totally honest about it. That's not, we're not implying that at all. We're just speculating that, yeah, there's not the threat narrative that the States has. And yeah, it could be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it too, obviously, because I'm emailing going, what the heck's going on, right?
No, I think it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the question is that I have,
Yep.
and it's all speculation at this point,
Of course.
is how contrary is this going to be compared to what we've heard coming out of the United States? This is going to be something that I'm very interested in learning.
Yeah.
And I think we could see something completely different. I really do.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that it's not some sterilized generic version, but I'm holding up hope that, yeah, you're right. I'm hoping we see something completely different, and maybe a couple of moments, but we'll just have to wait and see, sir.
Well, like I said, I don't know. So we got about 3.5 minutes to go here before we go to break.
Yep.
I don't know what we're going to actually get.
No.
None of us do. But the one thing that we do know is the goal behind this, set up by Member of Parliament Larry Maguire and a bunch of other non-named members of Parliament, is that their mandate was to make this a scientific study, not a defense study. And in fact, when those members met with Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellon, and others back in 2021, the one thing that allegedly canceled that entire work share program was the fact that Mellon and others didn't want to play the science role. They wanted to play Canada to play the threat narrative role.
Right.
Okay. So when a lot of people say, Dave, why are you always griping about the threat narrative? Is because it goes deeper than just the United States. This was trying to convince another country and its politicians that these are a threat.
Yeah.
And we need to spend money on them. And Canada needs to protect itself along with the United States.
Yeah.
Whereas the Canadian reports that have all come out have basically been, we have no threat narrative here.
Right.
We have no threat.
Nope.
So that is the reason why I'm quite passionate about going against this threat narrative.
Yeah.
Because we have the proof. And indirectly, me and Spaced Out Radio were part of that proof.
Right.
Because number one, I was the one who set up the contact at first.
Yeah.
That continued with Grant Cameron and Nicole Sakic and many others. And when it all fell apart, guess who got the blame? Dave Scott, Jimmy Church, Grant Cameron, Nicole Sakic. And in the meantime, it was Larry Maguire who said, and others who said, no. We don't play threat narratives in Canada. We don't do that.
No.
We don't panic the public here.
Yeah, true.
Well, we don't have answers.
That's right.
So I can see where that's going. This is why I have a vested interest in this.
Yeah, no kidding.
My vested interest, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 1.2 out of 10 when it comes to my involvement in this.
Right.
Probably even less.
Right.
But either way, got the ball rolling into some important conversations.
True.
And that's where I think I want to see where this plays out.
Yeah.
So when people are arguing, in the UFO world, well, why do you keep, these are a threat? We have to look at it as a threat. No, I don't have to look at it as a threat because I know it's a narrative because they tried to do the same thing to Canada.
That's right.
So that's my opinion on it. Hey, people may not like it.
That's okay.
But what did I say on the air? I just don't care anymore.
That's right.
Let's just call a spade a spade.
That's it. I totally agree. And yeah, it's nice not to be scared half to death about UFOs flying over our country.
Isn't that the truth? Well, they are flying over.
Absolutely.
They're just not going pew pew to our military guys.
That's
you know.
That's it.
That's the way it is. Tim, hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. And I want people to think about this before we come back.
Okay.
How would you feel about Donald Trump being the disclosure president? It could happen. It might happen if he gets elected.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
So I did something stupid hunting.
You did
Since I gave you the shot on the air.
Okay, so what'd you do?
So I had my Jeep.
Mhm.
You know, I got the back windows off my Jeep.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Oh.
So I decided
Mhm.
to take my pointy stick and put it in the driver's cabin with me.
Right.
So we get to the one spot,
Mhm.
and I've always had this habit because for people who don't know, I was actually born with a muscular problem where
okay.
all of a sudden things just don't work.
Yep. Okay, fair enough.
And sometimes my hands don't work. It's been like that since I was a kid. I drop a lot of things.
Right.
And I get really upset. I mean, you've seen me drop things that I shouldn't drop, and all of a sudden
I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah.
I drop a lot of things. I do.
Okay.
And I dropped my pointy stick, and it went barrel first into the dirt. But thankfully,
Dun, 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 dun.
on my pointy stick, I could remove the top of the pointy stick.
Yes.
And I gave it a good cleaning.
Thank God.
Yeah, because there was about a quarter inch of dirt in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I gave it a good cleaning. And then after the next whap, it got real clean.
Yeah, for sure.
Real fast.
Well, I'll tell you another one. And this wasn't me. This was my dad. We were hunting. He had his quad, and he had the scabbard for his gun mounted on the side of the quad. And he just come back into camp, and we're all sitting there, and he's getting all his gear off and taking his belts and all that stuff off. And he goes and he reaches into the scabbard to pull his pointy stick out and accidentally triggers it. Boom, blows a hole in the front of the scabbard, and boom, into the front tire of the quad, right in camp, right?
Oh, my.
We're all like,
at least it happened in camp.
True.
You know, rather than way out there in the middle of nowhere where you're having to ride thud.
Yep.
Thud.
Dad goes, anybody got any duct tape? I was like, yeah, I got duct tape. And repaired his tire, but we repaired his tire properly, sorry, and duct taped the scabbard all back together.
Yep. Let's say hello tonight to new listeners. Sofa King, Sweet Sofa King.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, right.
I do. That's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Driftwood, how you doing? Jocko Flacco, welcome to SOR chat. Who else is joining us here? Scrolling on down. I think we're caught up.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
My back is killing me right now.
Usually mine by the end of the show, my tailbone.
Yeah, you need a pillow on that chair.
Well, I broke it when I was 16.
Yeah, why did you do that?
Well, because I was an idiot walking down a hill with Christmas presents into the house and slipped on an icy driveway and landed right on my tailbone and spent 3 days laying on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Tim, there's nothing we can do about that.
Yep.
Great. Monday.
We have 90 seconds.
90?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah.
Like 90.
Gotcha.
Not 9 plus 0. Just 90.
Gotcha. Had that brain worm again today every time I heard phenomenon.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I was like, no, stop it.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught on that.
No.
You don't want to get caught on that.
So quiet. No whistling in here tonight.
No whistling. Even my nose is silent. 30 seconds. Thank you to Simon with a hat trick, Jen A, Pam H, Area 53, Gizmo, Richard, Ozzy Ange, Scott, and Noble Patrick for the great super chats. Very much appreciate the love and support. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. What, Tim?
No ugly swag.
Why?
Because you want to wear it out. You don't want to wear it to just paint your house or anything like that or mow your lawn.
No, you don't want that.
No.
No.
Not at all. Big negative.
Here we go. Like 7 seconds. No ugly swag.
People.
Final half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We very much appreciate your listening ears. Wherever you are in this beautiful planet, Earth. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. We're on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tim James, you're here.
I am so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a UFO report. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. I like being here.
Well, we like having you here. You're doing all right.
Okay.
Doing all
good.
right.
All right.
So, over the weekend, there was a lot of people talking on X, especially. Some flipping out.
Yeah.
Some ready to move to Canada and everywhere else in the world.
Great.
That if the election in the United States goes in favor of Donald Trump, Ross Coulthart talking about this on News Nation as well, that there is a strong belief that Trudeau. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
what an idiot I am right now. Oh my God. Why? I don't know who to be more insulted by right now. But that Mr. Trump could become the first president to disclose what they know about UFOs. And apparently I'll let you take this over in a second, but apparently in Trump's camp, there is some rumblings about this.
Yes. Yeah. Tim Burchett is all over it like a hungry kid on a Smartie. He's saying that this is a done deal if the election's won by Trump. And there's a lot of Republicans out there that are for lack of a better term, waving that flag and saying, yeah, this is going to happen. But then there's another side of that group or not that group, but political bodies that are going, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's great. I mean, at least it's discussion. But I don't know I don't think he has just the outright authority to go, all right, I'm declassifying this. I think he has to go through the Department of, what's the act? I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, even on Rogan, I guess when he was on Joe Rogan, some of the questions that he answered were, like he feigns interest, or he acts like he doesn't really care about it. There's no interest in it, but he's talked to lots of people about it, and yeah, he says it's interesting and it's a topic that should be brought out, which I agree. But who knows? I mean, all politicians say stuff to get elected, but I have no idea. I don't know if he can just arbitrarily decide that he's going to release this info.
I don't think he will.
No.
You know, much like he said that the last time he was elected, he was going to release the JFK files.
Right.
And
That's
there
right.
is talk. Here's where I believe we'll get the JFK files over the UFO files. Because now that Robert Kennedy Jr. is supporting him, and kind of, lack of a better term, I think he's going to be part of his cabinet, or I don't know what it's called down there. Up here in Canada, we call it a cabinet.
That's right.
Okay. I think there's a good chance that if that does happen, okay, that the JFK files could come out, because now there's somebody, family tied to the case.
True.
Okay, about what happens.
True.
Okay, and the other inside information that I got on this, and I mentioned it on the show before, but I will remind people that apparently after the couple of assassination attempts,
yes,
that he is very upset about the security, and more especially the CIA.
Yeah.
Now, remember, I do not have a dog in this fight. I don't even live in the United States. Okay. Once again, I'll say it. I'm Canadian.
Attaboy, hey?
Okay. I don't care what your political affiliation is, who you're voting for, because that is, as long as you vote, that's a great thing for you to do. And I want everybody to vote.
Right on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I don't care if you vote for the Green Party, because Lord knows you could win 2 seats and become premier of British Columbia. Right? And you don't even get elected if you're a leader.
That's right.
Anyways, that's a whole different story right
Meanwhile,
what I'm saying, though, is, do you think it would be a good thing if it was Trump who became the disclosure president?
I think it would be a good thing. Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, and be straight up, I think that any president that revealed it and, came through with the promises of saying, yeah, this is going to happen and this is what we're going to do and I'm going to do this and get it done, and threw that out on the table for everybody, I think that a double-edged sword, really. Now I'm kind of trying to, I'm juggling it in my head, because again, we've talked about it before, and are we ready for that? Is everybody ready for that? Is it going to affect people that how badly is it going to affect people that aren't ready to deal with this? I mean, there's so many balls up in the air, but for him to narrow it down, if it was Trump that revealed it, I think it'd be good for him, because finally somebody would be going, all of us would be going, thank God, at least it's out there. Right. But, I don't know. I would just say, any president or any official that dropped the bomb, so to speak, and let us all see the complete disclosure. Yeah, I think that that would make them very popular, I guess, putting it in a generic term.
Well, the question is, do we trust it? Do we trust it? And I'm not just saying Trump. Would you trust Kamala Harris to disclose? Would you trust any future president to disclose? Knowing the tensions that are out there right now, okay, especially with the media, nobody believes the media anymore. And nobody believes anything that comes out. At times, the conspiracy theorists, which we're a part of, have been very true. We've been very right on the UFO front.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's gone from tinfoil conspiracy to literally, it's here.
Yeah.
Now, in my opinion, there's been enough people to announce disclosure that it's happened.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for the official word.
Yeah.
It's like, you could sit there and text, I remember when my son was born, I was texting my family, and I said, he's here. Right.
Yep.
But it's not official until they get to see him.
True. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That may be a poor example, but it's kind of making my point.
But that parallel, it's a good parallel, because we know it. They could say, okay, you guys are right. But until you see it, you're still standing on that edge. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it makes total sense. So who knows? I'm
And the other thing that we have to remember too
Mhm.
is the guys who brought down the Schumer rounds last year, who are planning on bringing it down again.
Yeah.
Let's remember their deep state ties to the military industrial complex,
Right.
led by Ohio's Mike Turner.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, they are very much involved in keeping this a secret.
Yeah.
And that old guard that, is still trying to write laws with granite, stone, and a chisel. All right.
Yes.
They are still fighting for the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of new ways in their system. So
No.
just my thoughts.
Well, true. And then, I look at it too, and you've got the hearings coming up, and Nancy Mace is like totally pumped and flexing the last little while out there too, right? It's like, man, I would love to be a fly on the wall on some of those meetings.
Well,
Right?
we have a couple people going. I believe Courtney Marcassani is
cool.
planning on going. Steve Bassett is going.
Excellent.
I think Jason Gilmet from the UFO studies pod or UAP studies podcast is going to be there.
Right on.
Because he's looking for drones with UAP.
Yeah.
And I bug him all the time, but he has such a good mustache and beard combination. I don't give him too hard of a time on that.
No, I get
But
it.
you bring up a good point about Nancy Mace. She basically said, come hell or high water,
Yeah.
this hearing is going through.
Yeah, she did. And the other quote, I loved it. It was like, if anybody thinks I buckle under pressure, we must not have met yet. I love a good pressure cooker. Once my mind is set, there is no stopping me. It was like, yeah, I was reading all these quotes, and I was like, oh, I don't know. We'll see what happens with her. But yeah, she's like totally jacked right up. And it's like, okay, but she's a no nonsenser either. We've discussed that before. She's pretty pit bullish, right?
And that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good thing for what we are seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, how much does she already know going into this? Because we don't know who the witnesses are as of yet.
No.
Okay, we could speculate who they are.
Sure.
I believe it might be Gillidet. It might be Nell. It might be someone. There might be one more. And great. If it comes out, it's great.
Yeah.
And I want to see this happen.
Mm-hmm.
But is she going to go down the same road as Senator Gillibrand? Is she going to go down the same road as Tim Burchett? We look at Tim Burchett as a champion for this cause politically.
Right.
Okay. What has he brought out? Not much.
Yeah, I was just
the same stories that we already know.
Yeah.
Except with the government seal of approval on them.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything.
No.
Everything that they have wanted to discuss is happening behind the doors in these private skiffs.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what a skiff is, it's actually a room that is sealed tight for noise.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that they can be penetrated for anything secretive is through laser beams. And the waves between laser beams.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Okay. But you got to know where these rooms are and who's speaking in them and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I even saw it, and the comment that he made about, you've got to be careful what you say and disclosure acts and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to get into it because it's kind of a brutal statement, but yeah, he basically says you got to know in a nutshell when to shut your mouth, or you don't have to worry about shutting your mouth anymore, I guess. And yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, he really hasn't said anything, but I think he's playing it safe. But
But that's the problem.
Yeah.
We've had enough playing it safe.
Uh-huh.
You did hit the nail on the head right there, by the way.
Thanks, yeah.
All right, you did. But at what point, excuse me, are we not playing it safe? And giving a little bit of answers, giving a little bit of direction is still playing it safe.
Yep.
But give the public something.
Yeah.
Not stories that we already know.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care who the players are. Okay. But give us some stuff that we don't already know. So let's see. We're going to talk about the threat narrative.
Yep.
I'm going to call the meeting right now.
Okay.
Okay. I'm Dave Mace. Okay.
I love your hair, Dave.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
No problem.
So we're going to hear about the threat narrative.
Yep.
We're going to hear about how we don't know where these things are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hear a lot of, I can't say that. We would have to discuss that in a skiff.
Uh-huh.
We're going to hear stories that we've already heard from incidents. The 3 videos, Go Fast, Gimbal, and Tic Tac will probably come up again.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to hear the same thing over and over again.
True.
We might hear about non-human intelligence. Okay. We might hear about other incursions. They'll probably give us a new one, maybe 2.
Sure.
Okay. That we don't know about. We'll probably hear about the jellyfish.
True. Yes.
All right. Since that's one of the popular ones these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all the kids are talking about these days.
Darn kids.
So,
yeah.
and I'm not trying to sound negative
No, I
or
get it. though.
downplaying. Please don't take it that way.
Yeah.
But what we are looking at it for is this is the way the last number of meetings have gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Nancy Mace is going to stand up about, wow, we learned a lot. I can't believe all this is. Well, of course you don't know. You can't believe a lot of this was happening because you weren't at the last number of hearings.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a rinse and repeat cycle.
Yeah. Well, it's like watching sports, and you watch hockey, right? And but the thing is that with a hockey, the game ends. You get a final. But with this, we came out a little bit slow in the first, and then we came out, and then, the defense was a little bit lackluster. We were missing some pass. We got to get our head in the game. It's the same regurgitation, but at least there's an ending, right, with the game. But with this, it's the same thing. You're right. It's just the same. It's like, oh my gosh, like watching a hockey interview between periods. It's like, really come up with something new, right?
I screwed up an NHL player one day on that.
Did you?
Yeah, I was covering practice one day. Totally off topic.
Okay.
Brent Sopel is his name.
Yeah.
Won a Stanley Cup with, I believe he won one. He won with Chicago, maybe LA.
Yeah.
Definitely Chicago, though.
Yeah.
So he's going through all the cliches.
Uh-huh.
And the athletes treat the media because they're trained on the cliches.
Sure they are.
So he was talking about defense. We gotta play man-to-man in our zone. And I said, so are you talking about a 1-2-2 lock, a 2-2 lock? Are you gonna lock the weak side, or are you gonna lock the strong side? And he looked at me dumbfounded, and he paused and just went into a different cliche right there. And after the interview, I kind of knew,
Sure.
We got along, and I said, Brent, I coach junior hockey. I said, I kind of know the terms.
Yeah.
And how it works. So can we just have an agreement that we just don't do that with Dave anymore? I won't make you look bad, but can we just not do that?
Dumping cliches.
Oh, I hate that.
But yeah, so that's the way I see it. It's just like that thing. It's just a bunch of cliches, but at least with a hockey, football, basketball, whatever you're watching, whatever sport you're into, there is a final and there's an outcome. That's what I think we're looking for is an outcome. Do we win or do we lose? But there's got to be some sort of an outcome that's not the same every frickin' time.
Well, and that's the big issue.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the big issue.
Yes, it
is. How do we get there, and how do we stop it from happening over and over again?
I've always wondered too. I'm wondering when they get close and just say, for example, and I have no idea, but that's Nancy Mace. She comes out and that's it. And everybody around her sees stuff flying like, uh-oh, she's dead serious. I wonder how many of those old on her office door or whatever, because it seems to me like even Burchett seems like he sits there and he talks it, but it's almost like he's got that, I just got to shut up or,
Well, they're only allowed to go so far.
I know, but they always seem to be that they're scared. Like they come out like this, and then as they get closer to the finish line, they kind of go, oh, geez. It's almost like somebody walked up behind them and gave them a smack in the head and said, watch what you're saying. And which I'm sure at some point they all get told. But yeah, I'd like to see somebody just not listen and tear it up in there. Right?
Oh, I would love. Hey, man, I
What?
would love to see it too.
Yeah.
I want to see some honesty. I want to see some. You know what? Stop talking to me and the public
Mhm.
about transparency when you can't give any transparency at
Right.
all. Whether
Right.
it's through legality, whether it's because of the skiffs,
Yeah.
whether it's about anything. Stop talking transparency
Yeah.
until you can give us something. Because
Definitely.
the funny part about it is, away from all of these meetings, somebody like Tim Burchett, who's now been involved, I think 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
He always talks transparency.
Yeah, he does.
We need to have more transparency. Then he goes into the meeting. Everything is the same. Hot golly darn. He sounds like the Canadian version of Howie Meeker. Okay. The late, great Howie Meeker.
Loved him.
All right. And then he ends up giving nothing again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he spews the same old jargon over and over again. I'm hot as a firecracker right now. 'Cause we're just not getting, we're running around in circles. Well, you're part of the problem, Tim.
Yeah.
You're a politician.
Yeah.
You're part of the problem.
That's right. Let's look what you said on camera. Let's see what you actually said. Oh, nothing in there. Yeah. So hard to say. I'd really like it though. I just love to watch somebody tear it up in there and make just headline news.
Yeah. Once again, just for people who are quickly tuning in, we got about a minute and a half here.
Mhm.
So there was planned that they were going to cancel
Yes.
the meeting, but Nancy Mace has come out and said, you know, she's gone all Hulkamania.
That's it.
And basically said that these meetings are happening, so help her God.
Yep.
And that's what we're going by.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going by.
Yep. Definitely. And Askapol, yeah, I think they got the quotes too from her, right? So we will see, but you know, we're all holding our breath, but you know, breathe through your nose while you're pretending to hold your breath because we don't want
I
anybody.
can't even breathe through my nose. It's been broken too many times.
Yeah, been there. So, yeah, other than that, it's a little bit of a not really a slow news day in the UFO world, but yeah, it's Monday and it always seems to be the quiet. And then tomorrow all crap will go crazy and it'll be like, oh, like you won't be able to keep up with it.
Well, just a reminder,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we will keep you on base, and there is going to be a new schedule coming out very soon. Okay, so Tim is going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Robin Haynes is switching over to Tuesday. Jackie Harmon switching over to Fridays for the cryptid reports. So we have a little bit of a scheduling change happening starting this week on Spaced Out Radio. So, Tim, we will talk to you in a couple nights' time.
Most certainly.
And we will go from there, my friend, and say adios to the report. And hello, Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Dahl. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. Rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in out working at home on your cars. Wherever you may be, thank you to everyone in our chat room tonight. YouTube, Twitch, Elka, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright with Spaced Out Radio, SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my
don't
friend,
make a mistake. We're watching.
we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Blue Train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. Strong times there, man.
Yeah.
Strong times.
Uh-huh.
Even got Robbie G's hackles going a little bit there.
Did we?
Yeah, in a good way. He's all excited about Thursday night with you. You're gonna have to race from the ghost tour
Yeah.
over to your place.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn. How come I'm working a double? No.
Oh, yeah. You're.
Hey, don't do that. That's rude.
Oh, I'm doing that. I am doing that. Elephant, I'm surprised you're here. Thought you didn't like us anymore,
Yeah.
according to your comments online. Hey, I see it all, buddy.
Yeah.
I see it all.
So me and Robbie G on Thursday night.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Just sage me and I'll rip back to the house, man.
Oh, man. Take it with you. Little dab will do you.
Yeah, exactly.
Little dab will do you. Sweet Robbie G.
Bump, bump,
No, he
bump.
doesn't like that.
I know
one.
he doesn't. That's why I'm doing it.
Yep. Sweet Robbie G. He knows how to kick it into fifth gear.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Robbie G.
Yep.
Oh.
I think he was on the Fast and Furious.
You know something? That's a series that I'd never watched.
Me either.
No.
Zero interest.
Uh-huh.
Zero interest.
No.
Yeah.
Not a big Vin Diesel fan or yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Not my cup of tea. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh. That's a movie series. I just don't understand how it's made money.
Good special effects, I think, and a lot of guys. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people really like that. Super fast drifting and stuff like that.
Oh, I can see where that.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Simon!
What's Simon doing? Because we're on pause up there.
I don't know.
I have 10 of them. Oh, right. One's on as well that night. I forgot about that. Cool.
You got to just go to One. Yep.
Yeah.
One.
One.
No, just One.
One.
That's right. Just like that.
Okay.
Just like that. Where's the start of this thing? Right here. You having fun at the new gig?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No problems. Knock on wood. Yeah. No, everything's going good.
Well, that's good. Not stressful?
No. I mean, we're even under construction right now, but yeah, no, it's just learning new systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding that one account today, I was like, what the heck is this? Holy crap.
Are you busy during the day, or do you just sit a lot down, twiddling the thumbs quite a bit?
No. Busy enough. Like, I mean, we're booking deliveries and people, of course, calling in and going, yeah, I've got nothing left in my tanks at the house. So could you just maybe swing by and fill them up at 500 or 800 liters? Oh, yeah, no, we'll just jump right on that
So
one.
basically, out of an 8-hour day, maybe what are you, an 8 or 9 hour day?
9.
Okay, so you're working about 28 minutes.
No. 20, probably 37 minutes.
I was going to say 35 is my next guess.
Yeah. No, we're lots of paperwork is what it is. There's a ton of paperwork and just, yeah, way too much paperwork.
Yeah, Sweet Robbie G and One are going to have fun on Halloween night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you start at 9?
I usually roll in about 9:06. You know what's funny? Is it doesn't matter how how early I leave the house, I have time skip, and I always arrive at 9:06.
Really?
Between 9:03 and 9:06.
Yeah, but you run through Timmy's too, right?
I do, but usually it's
pretty
quick.
Okay. Welcome to
Very
Tim
good.
Hortons. We'll be right with you.
And then they take the order of the other person who just pulled in.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Tim Hortons. I had this guy this morning in front of me.
Okay.
You had to bring this up and give me a bad memory.
Oh, sorry, man. Trigger warning.
I'm going to rant here for a second.
Do it.
Okay.
Unscheduled.
If you've been to a fast food restaurant before,
Mm-hmm.
you already know going up to the menu board what you want. For anybody to take more than 58 seconds to go and place their order, whether it's McDonald's, Taco Bell, okay, you're going to McDonald's because you already have a hankering, and I never get to use the word hankering.
I love that word.
Okay, you have a hankering for a Big Mac combo or a milkshake.
Yeah.
Lord forbid you've already given up on ice cream because of frickin' ice cream.
$6
doesn't count. No, don't even get me started on Dairy Queen right now. Don't even get me started on Dairy Queen.
Sorry, man.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Be nice.
All right, I am.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn $6.28.
Carry on with your stories.
Anyways,
Hurry.
You already know what you're getting.
Yes.
Okay. Don't sit at the drive-through window for 5 minutes saying, oh, and well, do you have this? Do you have that? I don't know. You already know pulling in. If you're a morning person, you know you're getting a breakfast sandwich or a wrap.
Yep.
You're probably getting a coffee, a double-double, because you had double-doubles your whole life. It's the most popular coffee.
Right.
All right. And you're moving on from there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't sit at the drive-through for 15 minutes looking at the board, wondering what you're getting for breakfast. It's a limited menu. You know that pulling in. They're not going to offer you pancakes with extra syrup. You're at a donut shop that offers wraps, bagels, and
breakfast sandwiches. Yeah. Agreed.
Okay? And then the only thing they're going to try and do is upsell you on the goddamn hash brown.
That's right.
Which is already hard as a hockey puck.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Rob, that's a little black disc about this thick. Okay. About that wide.
Oh.
All right. Just let you know. We'll send you one day.
Yeah.
All right. Tim Hortons does not have a secret menu.
No, I know.
Okay. And ever since I've hated Tim Hortons. I love Tim Hortons, but I hate them ever since they teased me with the Dutchie donut.
Oh, yes.
The Dutchie donut.
You're a Dutchie donut.
The Dutchie donut is the greatest. The funny part about it is I can't stand the Dutch. No.
Well, hopefully none of our audience.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's like soccer. Okay. Mrs. SOR is Dutch.
So you must not hate them.
No.
Okay.
All right. It's a flaw. It's a flaw. Okay.
Oh, God.
It's a flaw. All right.
Oh.
I had bad experiences with the Dutch, man. Working in Chilliwack, I had bad experiences with the Dutch.
Well.
Oh, don't give me the eye roll like that.
I'm just saying.
Okay. It's the Dutch. They're like the French. They've lost everything.
Okay,
they
that's
lose
a little
everything.
different.
Okay. The only thing they win in is growing great flowers.
They do.
They grow fantastic flowers.
They absolutely
They're great
do.
farmers. They work, and I don't know what they do with their kids, but every kid is like 6'8",
and their women are absolutely
stunning,
beautiful,
stunning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never had a bad experience with the Dutch, so
the Dutch.
Yep. I remember the French, Canadian French. I was leaving, and we were coming across Canada on a train. I was leaving Nova Scotia, and I had just left the military. So we're taking a train from Nova Scotia back to British Columbia, and there was an issue with the tracks. So Via Rail at the time gave us vouchers for breakfast or food, right? So
And you went through the drive-through.
no, we went to a restaurant that was at this train station, like, and then kind of a mall too, I guess. And there was 4 of us, one of the, all 4 from BC. So we went up and we had these vouchers. Well, the young lady at the kiosk only spoke French. I was like, okay. So on Canadians, we all aren't bilingual, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you look at it. And the guy I was with said, 4, and we'd like to come in, and showed the vouchers and everything. And she looked like she didn't understand. So she goes and gets the manager. Well, this dude comes out and he looks at us. And as soon as he found out that none of us could speak French, he told us he was, no. Right. Well, one of the guys that I was with was like built like a brick poop house. He was monstrous. And he went nuts, boots the kiosk into the restaurant. I was like, oh God, we're not going in there. Right. And then there we go. Then we went to like a fast food restaurant or whatever. But yeah, that's the only Quebec and Montreal. I had, just bad experiences there. And I don't know what it is.
When my father-in-law comes over,
Mhm.
because he's born and bred in Holland.
Mhm.
Okay. First thing I do is I pat him down when he comes into my house.
Okay.
Pat him down. And every time he says, what the hell are you doing?
Mm.
I said, I'm looking for your first dollar. I want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking for your first dollar.
I'm like, come on, show me your first dollar, please.
Mhm.
And he's like, shut up. And I'm like, no, come on. Let's just see it. I left it at home. No, you didn't. You're Dutch.
Goes with you everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's probably the only bad experience. But Tim Hortons and that McDonald's thing, it's like
it should never take 5. You should never be at the window for more than a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sure.
Minute and a half.
Can I get a quarter pounder with cheese? Can we get mushrooms on that too? And yeah.
Do you have the McRib? No, it ended 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But I want a McRib. Oh, that's the reason why I came down. I don't care.
Drive-through, please.
You've been here before. No, we don't have any extra Monopoly pieces. No, you can't order a Happy Meal, even though that's the only size you want. Just order the cheeseburger, fries, and a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because you're not taking the Happy Meal drink.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I used to say that to the kids when we were going through, when they were little, going through the drive-thrus, and be like, okay, what do you want before we get there?
Exactly.
Right? Like,
exactly.
I don't know. See, this is why we're doing it.
It's the exact same thing, dude, as it's been a while, and I know my time is short.
Yeah.
When I say this, because one of these days, and I know it'll probably happen tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I know it will probably happen tomorrow. I need gas in the morning.
Okay.
You know what that means? Lottery ticket guy or lady is going to be there. Because they don't come at any time during the day, except at your most busy time of day, which is either going to work traffic, lunch traffic, or going home traffic.
That's right.
They don't come in between. It's like coupon lady at the grocery store checkout.
Yep.
She only goes. Oh, one time I got a story about that.
Uh-oh.
This is funny. So when I was a single dad, the one thing that I learned, and I didn't realize this until I had gone a number of times, was that Sunday evening was single dad grocery night.
Oh.
At least where I lived.
Okay.
So you'd go to the mall and you would see all these single dads picking out their groceries and trying to figure out what the kids want, if that was their week with the kids or whatever, to make the kids lunches for school and everything like that. And I talked to a couple of them.
Sure, why not?
We're the single dad club, right?
We're all in this together.
And this was at the Save On Foods in Mission, British Columbia, right there at the junction. And they had only 2, it was like 7:30 at night.
Yeah.
and they only had 2 tellers. And both tellers were ringing in coupon ladies because their coupon lady teacher, that was classroom night.
Oh no.
Yeah, at the on couponing at the grocery store. So finally, us single dads start getting pissed off.
Yeah.
They finally open up 3 other tills.
Holy crap.
In order to allow about the 26 single dads that were lined up waiting to pay for their groceries. Because we don't have much. We already know where we're going.
Yeah, no, I totally get
it's
it.
why we don't need a map.
Yeah, that's
we already know where we're going.
I get
and
it.
then to get caught behind coupon lady.
Yep.
Okay, just like tomorrow morning, there are chances, because it's been over a month now.
Yeah.
It's been over a month since I've been caught behind Lottery Larry or Lottery Lulu. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, it's coming.
Yeah.
And you know what I don't like about these lottery people? You ever notice?
No.
Okay, I play the lottery. I don't buy scratch and wins.
No.
I just don't buy scratch and wins. But if the lottery's pretty big up there, I'll spend $5-10.
I get it.
Whatever. You never know what could happen. You know, it's like if you don't vote, you don't have a say. Can't win if you don't play. And you never know. I know I'm wasting my money. Okay, I know the chances of me winning are slim to none. But you know what?
You just
You never know.
You don't.
You never know. And last time I was stuck behind Lottery Lady, she kept turning around to talk to me. Like I was total, like me as somebody, I'm being delayed in my line because I'm supposed to be fully enthralled with her choice of scratch and wins. She comes in with a stack of lottery tickets like this. All right.
Yep.
And she said, I just don't know which ones to choose. You know, I had luck with the blackjack ones last time, but I'm just not feeling it today. What do you think? I think you should go away.
Exactly.
And not come during rush hour times when some of us who actually have a life are able to go to work.
Yes.
And not get our asses chewed by our boss because Lottery Lady wants to show us which ticket she's buying.
Yep. I agree. The other one, the express line. I've done this maybe a handful of times.
Yeah.
Walk up and I'll be, and you're after work and you're like, oh my gosh. And then that person in front of you, it's 15 items or less, but they've got about 24.
Yeah.
When they get to 15, I've done this. And my wife is like, shut up. And I'll go, 15, 16 as they're low, putting them on the belt. They'll turn around. Oh, I thought it said 15 items or less.
I got in trouble from the Save On manager here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did, because the person in front of me came in with like 22 items.
Yeah.
And
no, apples aren't counted as a single item each apple.
And I said, shouldn't you be in the line over there?
Right.
Should you be in the line over there? And the guy's like, sir, they're in this line. We're going to have to allow them to go through. I said, 15 items or less.
Right. Thank you.
Like if you can't count,
Yeah, exactly. I've done that too. And then the other one that gets me is
it drives me nuts.
You get that one person, that little old lady that's coming in for her milk. And the guy in front of her's got 15 items, right? Let her go ahead.
Right.
Let her go ahead. She's got one item. She's going to wait for you. And you don't even have your bank card ready or your points card ready. Your bags are still folded. It's like, oh my God.
Oh my man.
Yeah. First world problems. That's what I say.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm not trying to be rude.
No.
I just don't get it.
No.
Like, I got stuck at Save On last time behind Lottery Lady. and we needed $32 of this, and I'll spend that 60 that I want on this one and this one, but I don't want these ones. I want you to get the ones from behind the shelf.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna choose which ones that feel lucky. That I gotta no, trying to go freaking Karnak, and this one
right?
Like, come on.
Well, you remember the day when the express lane checkout cashiers used to have to go get cigarettes when they sold them in the grocery store?
Yeah.
I could never figure that one out. You'd be like, okay, I got like another 20 minutes for lunch, and I just want this sandwich and this bottle of water. And that guy'd get up to the front in front of you. It's like, okay, he's only got a half a dozen oranges. Oh, and I'll take 2 packages of the DeMaurier King. So it's like, oh, you gotta be kidding. The gas station's right there. Just go to the gas station. Yeah. And then
I'm mad just thinking of that.
And then 9 times out of 10, the poor cashier who hasn't smoked a cigarette in his or her life, it's like, are these them? It's like, oh,
especially in Canada, where every pack is the same color now.
Yeah.
Every pack is the same. It doesn't matter what brand.
Yeah.
Every pack is the same color.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And the only thing you can advertise is those grotesque pictures of people who get diseases from cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm good.
Nope. Yeah. They're so disgusting, yet you really appreciate collecting the $20 a pack in taxes on them.
Wow.
Or $12 a pack in taxes on them.
Holy God. I remember when I first started smoking. Oh, geez, here we go. $1 for a pack of smokes.
Yeah, but you're old.
Yeah. Oh, it was $1. And I swear to God, when they got to like $5 or something, I was like, that's it. That's ridiculous.
One of the greatest days of my life in British Columbia was when they stopped selling cigarettes to those under the age of 16.
Yeah.
Because we lived on a hill.
Okay.
And my mother, God rest her soul, was a there and back woman.
Okay. Yep.
So she would make me ride my bike down to the store to buy her a pack of whatever she smoked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that.
then I would ride back.
Yeah.
And then she would tell me, and going home was always uphill.
Of course.
And then it would be like, can you run to the store and grab me some bread? Oh, I forgot to get you to get milk. So can you run to the store? And this happened all the time.
Oh, man.
And finally, I just, I was so frustrated. I said, no. No.
Yeah.
After the 4th time. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember.
Imagine that, though. You could, as a 14-year-old kid, you could buy a pack of cigarettes, but you couldn't watch a rated R movie, like a horror movie or a good war movie, like Full Metal Jacket or something like that.
My dad, when we were kids, we were younger than that, used to run down to the store, and when he smoked, get cigarettes for him. Export A planes. Remember that? And yeah, it was like, and don't let them charge you more than 60 some odd cents or whatever. It's like, what am I going to do? I'm like 10 years old. Hey,
teacher, leave that kids alone. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Nobody knows what those kids say.
No.
I think that's where Eddie Vedder got his start.
Yeah. Then Vince Neil just kind of grabbed onto it later.
Yeah. I think Vince Neil's only singing about food now.
I love those. I love them.
Oh my God. And if you put it up to from 45 to 78, you get Bob Dylan.
Exactly.
I was so pissed off. I wasted 2 hours at a Bob Dylan concert, and he didn't play the one song that I know.
No. Everybody must.
That's the one song I wanted to hear.
I know.
Right?
Rainy Day Woman.
And did you know in concert, because you get stage fright, that over half the time of the concert, he will not face the crowd.
Really?
He faces the band.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them drink because they get freaked out when they're up there, right? Or do drugs or whatever. But yeah, it's funny. A lot of them suffer from stage fright. I used to like it because then you could just be whoever you wanted to be. You didn't have to be you up there.
Yep.
And everybody loved you. It was a lot of fun.
Unless you're in the UFO world.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Then you get. What was that? Hold on. Let me go way back here. Let me go way back.
Hey, what's the name of your band?
Hold on. Let's see if I can get to the beginning here. No. Oh, God. I'm going to have to go right to the beginning here. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Whoop, there it is.
Let's see if I can find it here. I think it was like something like "This is stupid" or.
Oh, was it a comment or something?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Tonight?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Just trying to find it here. Hold on. Where are you?
Type in a keyword.
Oh, it only went back an hour.
Right.
Oh, maybe not. Oh, I'm going back now. I'm going back.
He's going back.
Going back. Oh, God. I got to hold on before I can concentrate on that. I got to get this going.
So what is this here? Oh, Ange. I used to sell cigarettes in my dad's barber shop when I was 12 years old, right? Like there was nothing wrong with it.
By the way, did you see they're opening up an actual barber shop in town?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I can hardly wait.
I hope the guy is tattooed, has a big beard and a good curly mustache.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like moving over there if that happens.
Well, fair enough.
Uh-huh.
People that have hair.
And I hope he actually gives like real proper shaves.
Straight razor shaves?
Yeah.
Oh, those are the best.
I've only had one. It scared the hell out of me, but it was the best shave I ever had.
You're like baby's butt. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Hot towels. It's like,
the hot
God.
towels. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that does it every time.
Hillbilly Herb Popeye candy cigarettes were the bomb. Yes. Now what are they called? Candy sticks.
Right? It's like, come on. Grow up. But it's the same thing as social media censoring you for, you can't say died. You have to say unalived.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how dumb do you think we are?
Yeah. Well, I get it. We need, we need that steamy towel straight razor shit on the head. No. No, we don't. And Ange says she knew how to count change back too. That is so funny. Yeah, nobody knows how to do that. Like the young kids when they're counting change back.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's real simple. If I give you $5.50 and I get 19 cents change back, because my bill was $5.31.
Yeah. Right. I liked it too. My favorite was when you'd go up and your bill was whatever, $5.25. You throw a 10 down and a quarter, and the kid behind the counter would be like,
"You gave me too much."
Yeah. No, just give me a $5 bill back. Huh? It's like, oh wow. Man. God, we're old.
Yep. Back in the day.
Walk to school uphill both ways.
Right.
Wearing my dad's pajamas.
Yeah. And no laces in my shoes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got a piece of bread and an apple in our lunch, and we were damn happy to get it. Box of sun-made raisins.
I love sun-made raisins. Don't be insulting the sun-made raisins.
Hey, Dutchy guy. Yeah, I guess.
I like a good raisin.
Oh,
let's see if I can find that comment. Hold on. Let's see. We got to go back to the 9 o'clock hour. We're at 10:30 now. Getting there. I think we only got about an hour to go.
Yeah, right.
Getting there.
What do I use? Oh, it's dog face. Okay.
Hold on.
No, just do it in the shower with a regular Mach 3 razor and and shaving cream.
I rarely use a Mach 3. If I shave now, I just use my clippers.
Yeah, well, cleaning the stubble out of the spots where the hair grows. Yeah, I just use the Mach 3 because it's just. But I do it in the shower. So it's nice and hot.
I've been around here somewhere. Hold on, I think I'm getting there.
Do 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 do. Hillbilly Herb. 10 feet of snow, 15 kilometers both ways uphill. Yep. You know, my dad tried to pull that one time, and we were younger, and he thought he was going to get it by us. And, you know, when I used to walk home from school, it'd be so hot, we'd have to walk on the shady side of the street. I remember going, like, I think it was like 13 or 14. I was like, well, duh. I was like, oh, yeah, you don't do that to your dad. Duh. Oh, that's not my point. I'm trying to make a point. Gotcha.
I think I'm almost there.
You can do it.
Somewhere around here. Somewhere. I'm just looking for my comment.
All caps.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Why I oughta.
Why? Oh, yeah. My comment back was, did someone walk on your lawn?
Nice.
Uh-huh. I just thought that was
no
funny.
problem, dog face. Anytime. Talking about scalp grooming.
I don't have that issue.
Yeah. I gotta find those old pictures. I got pictures around somewhere when I actually had hair. Long hair.
Yeah, the comment was, this is a joke. That's all they put.
And it's from nobody that we've ever seen before.
Oh, yeah, it's from somebody who...
whatever.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is, you will understand. Anybody listening from British Columbia will understand.
Oh, okay.
They're from the Sunshine Coast.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
The Sunshine Coast.
Yep. Birkenstock City.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Sunshine Coast. Like, I love the hit and runs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's one thing people don't understand about me. I don't usually say much about it, but I love the hit and runs.
Yeah, it's like a sucker punch. Right?
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. It's
good old face rub and then scoot in behind all the big guys.
Yeah.
Kind of pulling a Cliff Ronning. Sorry, Cliffy.
It's like, see if I can find this. Hold on. Let me just, there we go. Go here. Wait for the chat room to load up. Yeah. All right, let's see this. All right, maybe if I hit play, it'll load up. There it is. So we're at the beginning here. Let's go to the beginning. And what's this person's name here?
Oh, Rob, geez. You guys just see the Beetlejuice 2?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
No, but I think Rob's just saying that if anybody hasn't seen it, it's awesome. So I'm thinking, by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen it, the new Beetlejuice was awesome.
Can we trust Rob's opinion, though? I mean, this is a guy who doesn't like hockey. Right? Can we really trust this guy's opinion? Do we really know him?
I went to it up here at the theater.
Uh-huh.
I got to say, first time in that theater, I love those seats.
Yeah, those seats are awesome.
It's like,
those are captain's chair seats, man.
like huge. I felt like a little
yeah.
kid sitting in my granddad's recliner. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah, we went and saw it. I wasn't a big fan of the first one. And the missus was, and her friends were like, hey, we'll take you guys out to a movie. Okay. I was like, I got there. I was one of these. Oh, no. And it wasn't too bad, actually. It wasn't too bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
I like Michael Keaton, though, but
I'm glad he came back to do it.
Me too. Well, the whole cast.
Except for the one guy who's in jail.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. You just don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
What, Danny Masterson was in the... Oh, no, that wrong guy.
Ouch. Ouch. Moody Mongol. Moody Mongol.
Moody Mongo.
Hello, Moody Mongol. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's that time. You got to work. I got to work.
You betcha. It's been fun.
It has been fun. We'll see you Wednesday.
All righty, sir.
Yeah, we'll see you Wednesday. Fucking guy. Yeah. You're the kind of guy who wears plaid to a radio show.
I know, right?
Uh-huh. Who's on Monday or Tuesday?
That's right.
Oh, tomorrow night, Tawny Lewis is here. We're going to take a look at all things paranormal, supernatural, and mediumship. We're going to get some stories that she has investigated from Old Montana State Prison, Bracken Fern Manor, the Whaley House.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
She was also on TV on Canada's Crave Network for Paranormal Revenge.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember that one.
I've heard of it. I think I do remember it, actually.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. T&E Canada, no offense to them, hiring Americans to do Canadian paranormal investigators' job. That's a slap in the face to Merle.
No doubt.
No, we can't get ours looked at by anybody, but hey, we're going to go to the U.S. and get some American talent because these Canadians just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Have you approached CBC yet?
No.
Yes.
They'll somehow figure out who I vote for, and then they'll be like, yeah, you're out.
Yes, true enough.
More like Trudeau enough.
Trudeau enough. Very good.
Dear leader.
Mm-hmm.
Dear leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old dear leader.
Oh,
all right, everybody. You guys have an amazing night. Thank you to our super chatters tonight. We got Simon times 4.
Oh.
I think so. Hold on.
Holy man.
Hold on. Let's count these a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do I only have 4 marked now? Simon times 5. Gizmo. Area 53. Pam Harris. T-Bone, my man. Jenny. White Bear. We love you. And Richard Minnick. Ozzy Ange. Noble Patrick. And Scott's Life. Thank you for the love, everybody. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell. We have a lot of fun each and every night. And if you don't like us, well, hit subscribe, ring that bell, and then make a snide comment so that way I can make a snide comment back. Then we can have some good banter going all around, and you can tell me how to take my UAP NHI Squatch Fest and shove it up my bum. Right? And then I'll tell you to pick your nose and eat it. That's the way we're going to do it around here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Scott. That is Little Timmy James. We're out of here.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.